Just go to sleep, I won't tell you managers. Mu Bai whispered in the security guard's ear. Then go to the hotel lobby. Devon patted his butt and Ash followed closely behind. The two walked through the hotel lobby and took the elevator to the 30th floor. What does your girlfriend look like? Can I go and see? You little brat is quite curious. Mu Bai put his hand on Devon's head and said, haven't you heard that curiosity killed the cat? I just want to see her. If she is not as beautiful as Chin Gray, I suggest you dump her as soon as possible, so as not to become an obstacle between you and Chin Gray. Don't worry kid, brother's harem won't catch fire, and it's not your turn to worry about it. Mu Bai rubbed Devon's golden mushroom head vigorously. Devon can hear what you mean. The greater the ability, the more women. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 480, crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 260. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 220. Do I want to live with you today? After all, you didn't reserve a room for me just now. What? It costs money to stay in a hotel. Brother always enters directly. After speaking, he turned and went into room 3005 next to him. There is no need to open the door. The body passed through the wall. This scene stunned Devon. He lay down on the door and knocked. Pushed the door hard again. It can basically be confirmed that Mu Bai used the wall-penetrating ability just now. How is it? Do you still need to pay to stay in the hotel? Mu Bai poked his head outside the door and asked. It's so cool. If I could walk through walls, I wouldn't have slept on a crappy bed in a bar for the first 2 days. Come in. There is no one in this room. After speaking, he gave Devon a hand. Devon entered the room from the door. He looked at the body in surprise. Feeling unbelievable that I walked through the door. This. You can still let others wear it together. Worse than Shadowcat from Mutant Academy. Devon turned into a fangirl in seconds. Keep praising Mu Bai. No matter what you say, let Mu Bai be your master. Can you teach me? Ability is not a life skill. How can you learn it if you want? If I can teach people supernatural powers, I might as well start a supernatural power class. With my countless supernatural powers, I will definitely be everywhere. Your secretiveness makes Devon even more fascinated. If one does not have strong strength, but if there is a strong master, it is not bad. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 500. Wealth reaches 500, activate annual salary. Annual salary is the wealth obtained within 1 year x2. Crit, stealth plus 10 by 2, current stealth, 280. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 240. The two chatted and walked inside the house. As soon as he walked into the bedroom, Devon immediately picked up the remote from the bedside table and turned on the TV. He wasn't even qualified to hold a remote control at Mutant Academy. When you arrive at the hotel, you have to experience the freedom of a remote control alone. With you, I suddenly don't want to go back to Mutant Academy. Why don't you let me follow you? I'm sorry I don't walk around with a boy. If the girls on the road see it, they will think I'm married. It will break a lot of girls' hearts. Dewen finds out that you are not only cheap but also narcissistic. Although you have good looks and strength, you can't be a crowd pleaser. If you want to be a heartthrob, someone. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 520. Crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 300. The stealth reaches 300, activate the stealth magnetic field. You can release a stealth magnetic field with an area of 2,000 square meters, and everything in the magnetic field will be invisible. You can control the file size of the invisible magnetic field at will. The upper limit is 2,000 square meters. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 260. Chin Gray is Phoenix, and she alone is enough to make you dare not think about her. The current Chin doesn't know how to control Phoenix Force, so there's nothing scary about it. You know Phoenix Force? There's nothing I don't know. Even I know Wolverine slept with Cyclops. Pull it down, they are rivals in love. How could they have slept together? Read more comics and you will find a lot of love. Mu Bai looked around the room and was about to leave. Suddenly saw clothes in the bedroom closet. With curiosity Mu Bai opened the closet. I saw the clothes inside. Found all women's clothing. Blue skirt, white t-shirt, black jacket, black silk underwear, shoes, white stockings, red handbag. Could it be that this is a room designed for female streakers? What have you found? Devon walked over immediately. I saw a whole set of women's clothes in the closet. Also includes underwear. But I haven't seen the style yet. Mu Bai covered his eyes and threw him on the bed. Ah. But who knows such a throw? There were screams directly on the bed. The two were taken aback. Mu Bai listened carefully. I heard my heart beating on the bed. A bed with a beating heart? Then I saw signs of a sunken bed. He took a step forward and grabbed the bed with both hands. The grab elicited screams again. I feel like I've caught someone. Let go, stinky rascal. The woman yelled and slapped Mew Bai hard. F*K, an invisible person is actually sleeping. Mew Bai quickly withdrew his hands. The invisible man immediately got out of bed and stepped on the floor, making the sound of running barefoot. Then the door was opened. Mew Bai realized something was wrong. Immediately catch up and forcefully close the door that just opened a gap. Ask the air. Where do you want to go? 053, let me out, you pervert. I won't let you go out, otherwise the secret of me taking 2 people to stay in the hotel for nothing may be discovered. Maybe it will be published in the newspapers early tomorrow morning, so that more mutants will follow my example of looting hotels for nothing. The secret that was told is no longer a secret. However, the invisible woman knows the secret and will definitely not be able to leave this room tonight. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 540, crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 320. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 280. Wait, we're the X-Men. At this time, Devon's words made the invisible woman relax her vigilance. Are you the X-Men? Yeah, I'm an X-Men, he's an X-Men. How did the X-Men get here? Because there is no money. The X-Men you know are vigilantes without wages, and they chose to enter the hotel because of the heavy rain outside, and they don't know that there are people living in this room. So that's how it is. If Mew Bai said that, the invisible woman might not believe it. But the credibility of what a little boy like Devon said would increase a lot. So please don't go out and tell others. After speaking, Devon put on a pitiful expression. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone, because I didn't pay for the hotel. I slept in incognito because I was afraid that a guest would find me suddenly. The reason I didn't wear clothes was because when I was incognito, the clothes wouldn't make me invisible. It turns out that we are like-minded prostitutes. Mew Bai exposed the invisible woman's shoulders. I can feel that the invisible girl has taken a bath before going to bed. So the shoulders are tender and smooth. Hey, don't pick me up, you should know I'm naked. A long time ago, men and women were naked, and I don't know who invented clothes, and since then we have given up the fine traditions left by our ancestors. Anyway, you are invisible, it doesn't matter whether you wear it or not, there is no need to emphasize it. Devon's words made Mew Bai give him a thumbs up. Looks like I'm not the first person to use super ability to stay in a hotel for nothing. Definitely not, I still learned from a super ability anchor to use super ability to stay in a hotel for nothing. The anchor has the ability to pass through walls, so he often live broadcasts and stays in various hotels for free. But recently got caught by the X-Men. The poor kid can only walk through walls and not be invisible. If I go through the wall to hide and float in the air like me, I guarantee that no one will find him. Do you know 3 abilities? The invisible woman asked curiously. Yes, I have never used more than 3 abilities against the hand, but one ability may not be enough to stay in the hotel for nothing. Staying in a hotel for nothing is even harder than destroying the hand. In order not to be discovered, try every means. Wealth plus 10x2, current wealth, 560. Crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 340. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 300. Healing blood reaches 300, detoxification is activated. Your blood will also cover the detoxification effect. As long as you drink the blood that you allow, any toxin can be cured immediately. Who's talking in there? Just when the 3 were talking about the hardships of living in a hotel for nothing. A man's serious voice suddenly came from outside the door. The 3 of them were taken aback. Then there was a beep outside the door. A man with a flashlight quickly opened the door and walked in. He took a quick look around the living room. After finding no one, he hurried into the bedroom. He glanced at the toilet, the bathtub, behind the curtains. Neither found anything. I just heard someone talking inside. There must be someone. I just saw women's clothes in the closet, and the TV remote on the bed. Ma'am, I advise you to show up quickly. Yesterday, an anchor who often stayed in hotels for nothing was arrested and sentenced to more than 20 years. As long as you devote yourself to paying double the rent, we can let you go. The 2 men spoke back to back into the air. But after standing for a long time, I didn't get any reply. The expression gradually lost patience. Recently, I was arrested because of a live broadcast. As a result, many fans imitated him and stayed in the hotel for nothing. In one day alone they caught 5 mutants who were staying in hotels for nothing. Even the hotel specially invited a mutant with hearing ability. There is also a mutant that controls absolute silence. The cooperation of the two has a very good effect on capturing mutant. Since you don't cooperate, you can't blame us. Security Department. Receive. Quote. Before the man finished speaking, I felt a gust of wind blowing suddenly. Then the two fell to the ground. The walkie-talkie fell to the ground. What's wrong? Hey, talk. It's okay. I just spoke just to make sure if there are any security guards who sleep on the night shift. The security guard is angry. Just woke up suddenly after sleeping for half an hour. I thought something was wrong, but it turned out to be Shigong. Your words made the security guard feel completely sleepy in an instant, and he probably won't dare to sleep secretly in the future. Wealth plus 10 by 2. Current wealth, 580, crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2. Current invisibility, 360. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2. Current healing blood, 320. Turn off the intercom. Mu Bai closed the door again with his backhand. Restored Devon to its original form, you. The two were surprised almost at the same time. Don't be obsessed with brother is just a legend. Master, you seem to have more than 3 or 4 abilities. Devon called out to Master and hugged Mu Bai's thigh directly. Don't get close, I said I can't take care of children. You. Who the hell are you and why do you have multiple abilities? The most powerful mutants I know are only 2, but you seem to have more than 2. The invisible woman's words were full of awe. Brother's ability is actually a random super ability. 1 second of instability may be invisible, and the next second may become through the wall. 1 sentence conceals the identity of his multiple abilities. It is said that random super ability, they believe more than doubt. After all, I have never seen a person with multiple abilities. Just now I have experienced invisibility, voice change, speed, and wall penetration. Wealth plus 10 by 2. Current wealth, 600. Wealth reaches 600. Activate interest and your interest is 8% per annum for 7 days. Crit. Stealth plus 10 by 2. Current stealth, 380. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2. Current healing blood, 340. So that's how it is. Devon suddenly realized and let go of Mu Bai's hand. However, this super ability is very special. It can experience many kinds of abilities at once. Okay, I won't bother you anymore. My girlfriend has already fallen asleep after we talk. Hey, wait a minute. See, Mu Bai opened the door to leave. Devon quickly stopped in front of him. I can't sleep with an invisible girl without clothes? It's okay to be pretty, but if I look like an ugly monster, I will suffer. Then you still want me to find you a children's room? Please, I really need a room where I can watch TV alone. Devon clasped his hands together and begged. On the other side, the invisible woman also cast a prayer. These two have been sleeping here, I can't fall asleep at all. What should I do if I suddenly wake up? It's a problem. Then you are a good person, do it to the end, and help us both find a room? After all, I can only be invisible and not go through walls. At that time, another supernatural person opened the door for me. Hello. Where are people? Just when the two thought that Mu Bai would help them find 2 more vacant rooms. In the next second, Mu Bai disappeared instantly. Only Devon and the invisible woman were left standing in the room at a loss. At the moment they have only 2 options, or sleep in the same room with 2 men lying on the ground, or leave to find a way. At the moment Mu Bai returns to Vanessa's room. The lights in the room were still on. Vanessa lay on the sofa wearing a black sexy suspenders. In his hand was a Playboy magazine with Tony on the cover. Hey, you haven't slept yet. Vanessa sat up when she heard Mu Bai's voice. She threw down the book she was not interested in and said immediately, I thought you would go to another woman tonight and not come back. Brother is not that kind of person. A naked woman asked me to open a room for her just now. I came back without saying a word. How did the hand find it? Vanessa stood up and walked slowly towards Mu Bai. Put both arms around Mu Bai's neck. The two looked at each other affectionately. Then definitely, I also brought back a good thing. Hand out of thin air. A camera appears in the palm of the hand. Kicked an island country karate gym, and also eliminated a small stronghold of the hand association by the way. And the biggest gain is getting a Sony camera for nothing. I'm telling you in advance, what's in this camera is going to make me famous. Would it be indecent photos of gym coaches and gym students? What are you thinking, Vanessa? I don't look at that kind of thing. While talking about Mu Bai, he turned on his phone and downloaded the overseas version of Douyin. Vanessa couldn't wait to take the camera from Mu Bai. Want to see what secrets are in the camera? After watching the video in the camera, I laughed out loud. It's so interesting. Mu Bai, who slaps everyone like a pig's head. I think I'm still underhanded. When Vanessa watched the video, Miu Bai walked into the bathroom. Take a shower while brushing your teeth. At the same time, I did not forget to explain the story of beating the strongest karate to Vanessa. The strongest karate? I remember watching their videos, and they still have a lot of fans. That was just before. When I post the recorded video tonight on the account I just registered, they will definitely lose fans tomorrow. Now let me take an indecent photo of a big internet celebrity. Vanessa raised the camera to Miu Bai in the shower. Hey, you actually took a picture of me while my brother was taking a shower. Your new account needs an avatar. If the avatar can pass the review, it is estimated that I will have more fans, and the female fans will send me crazy messages. Don't worry, I will put a duck emoji at the right place, so that no female fans will bother you. Wait for Miu Bai to finish taking a shower. Vanessa has sorted out Miu Bai's new account. It took a while to export the footage from the camera. Then edit it into short videos with music and special effects. I cut it into 6 sections in total. It's best to post 3 sections first, and post slowly tomorrow. I don't want to worry about this matter. How can I save trouble? Miu Bai doesn't like to leave suspense. Just a whim. So I didn't listen to Vanessa's opinion. All the edited videos were sent out at once. The most annoying sentence in listening to books is, please listen to the next chapter and break it down. The person who can hold the audience by leaving suspense. Your unusualness makes Vanessa feel that you don't value the number of fans' attention, but care more about the audience's feelings. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 620, crit 830. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 400. Invisibility reaches 400, activates absolute invisibility, and will not be discovered by anyone when invisibility. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 360. I believe you will capture a lot of fans tomorrow. When I have fans, I might as well make a love account. Miu Bai threw the towel to Vanessa, walked out of the bathroom wet. The next 2 people really entered the night. Next morning, Miu Bai heard Devin yelling in the hotel corridor. There are several other men beside him. Let me go. Brat, do you know how many free-living mutants I caught yesterday? I don't live and live for free, someone will pay for it for me. Who? The invisible man with no clothes on. Not her. It's not her. Could it be that there are people living in other rooms in the hotel for nothing? Front desk, hurry up and check the vacant rooms, and ask people to check them one by one. Fake. Miu Bai yelled. Originally, I wanted to enjoy the presidential suite with Vanessa for a while. Devin said that revealing the truth caused Miu Bai's presidential suite experience card to expire directly. But look, Vanessa is still sleeping exhausted. Miu Bai decided to extend the time of the presidential suite experience card. Perspective is then used with supervision. You can have a panoramic view of every corner of the entire hotel. Soon he saw the portrait of the chairman in the corridor of the hotel. Then Transgen cooperates with mind control. The chairman instantly became Miu Bai's puppet. Boom boom boom. The presidential suite is locked, someone must be inside. After a while, there was a knock on the door. Hey, the people in there better come out right away, and your charges will be aggravated when we take enforcement measures. Miu Bai lay on the bed and pretended not to hear. Even turned up the volume of the TV so that people outside the door could hear it. Sure enough, I heard the sound of the TV. Fac Mutant, a group of guys who only take advantage of their abilities. It's your turn for Nico, let's go in and get him. The 6 security guards outside the gate held electric batons and were about to move. Nico nodded. Then lean your back against the wall. The whole person is integrated with the wall. The lead security manager gave a slight push. Nico was opened like a door. Several people walked in. Just about to rush into the bedroom. Suddenly, the chairman's shout came from behind. Get out. Hear the voice of the chairman. Several people froze in place immediately. Chairman, don't worry, we will let the people inside get out immediately. I'm telling you to get out, there are all my distinguished guests inside. Your distinguished guest? Why? What's your opinion? No, Chairman, we don't even know that the people inside are your VIPs. The security manager looked innocent, and then shouted into the room, I'm sorry, I really misunderstood just now. Misunderstand? Sorry, as an apology, I will pay for today's lunch. Okay, I'll give you this chance to make amends, but have you seen a boy with blonde mushroom head? Blonde mushroom head? The security manager thought about it in an instant. Yes, we will release him immediately. What? Let him go. He suddenly ran into my room last night and scared me so much that I almost had a heart attack. You actually want to let him go? I just wanted to teach Devin a lesson because you will be sent directly to the mutant juvenile prison for a word of yours, Dai Wen. Change Devin's fate. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 640. Crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 420. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 380. Almost gave you a heart attack. I must take this vicious mutant where he should go. Very well, let's go now. Sorry to bother you. After speaking, the security manager quickly led people out of the room. Make Nico come down from the wall. The wall was restored to its original appearance again. The few people at the door were taught a lesson by the chairman. The simmering anger of the few people was all directed at Devin. Dai Wen was in a daze and was supposed to be sent to the police station for some education. Now the route has been changed and it will be sent directly to the door of the mutant juvenile office. Where is this? Didn't you agree to send it to the police station? Mutant juvenile house is the best place for you to stay. I don't want to go in, I know the X-Men. Why, it's not easy for you to know anyone. My master is called Mu Bai, he is very rich, he knows Tony, and he will pay for me. You have offended the distinguished guest of the chairman, and have had an indelible impact on our hotel. Guests? I didn't go there last night either. Stop talking nonsense and go in quickly. Lying on the bed, Mu Bai grinned happily when he heard Devin's shouts in the distance. Devin, brother told you that following me would make me like a father, since you don't listen, I can only let you find a new partner. What are you laughing at? Vanessa, who was lying on the side, rubbed her eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Mu Bai smiling. It's okay, it's time for us to get up and have lunch in a luxury hotel. Enjoy lunch in a luxury hotel, do you have money? My brother's food, clothing, housing and transportation never cost money. By the way, I forgot to tell you last night. The owner of Zeus Bar called me. Vanessa rested her head gently on Mu Bai's chest. Call you? I think they don't plan to open the bar, so they want me to destroy it. Boyfriend is full of strength. Vanessa feels very safe with you. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 660, crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 440. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10x2, current healing blood, 400. Universal skill fragment plus 10 by 2, current universal skill fragment, 40. Healing blood reaches 400, activate terminally ill blood, your blood can cure cancer and other symptoms. Mu Bai is not what you think. They didn't care about the racing during the day, but they said that I passed the admission. Being able to admit you regardless of previous suspicions, one is that they are afraid of me, and the other is that they dig a hole and wait for us to fall into the trap. The analysis is very reasonable. Vanessa didn't think so. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 680, crit. Stealth plus 10 by 2, current stealth, 460, violence in violence. Healing blood plus 10x2, the current healing blood is 420. I saw they did when they called me, thought about it. But listening to their tone seems to be the first one. I was right to be afraid because I could drink all the alcohol in their bar in half an hour and just leave them out of drinks. No bar can withstand your revenge. Without wine in the bar, half of the fun is lost in an instant. Let Vanessa find you interesting again. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 700. Wealth reaches 700, activate the system bank, help you register an account that will never be found and has unlimited transactions, and can automatically manage funds, invest and manage money, online shopping, start a company, etc. Crit. Invisibility plus 10 by 2, current invisibility, 480. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 440. They're going to put me directly in management, and they want to pay you. Pay money to hire me? That must be because of my drinking capacity. How do you think you should go? Definitely going. If someone gives you money, don't take it for nothing. After speaking, Mu Bai quickly got up and got dressed. Blink also gave Vanessa a hand, waiting for Vanessa to finish her makeup. The two came to the Western restaurant on the 3rd floor of the hotel arm in arm. At the moment, the security manager is standing at the door waiting. See Mu Bai appear. He handed the 2 meal coupons to Mu Bai casually. How do you know it was me? Because I'm really embarrassed to disturb you too, so I have arranged someone to wait for you to come out at the door, and someone will notify me immediately after seeing you. That's right, your job has been saved for the time being. Mu Bai patted the security manager on the shoulder. He took the meal ticket and entered the restaurant. The scene in front of him reminded Mu Bai of the cafeteria of the Mutant Research Institute. With the excitement of seeing the cafeteria at that time, it is estimated that it will be difficult to realize again. By the way, When will Black Bottom Empire vs. be released? The day after tomorrow. You want to take me to the movies? Then definitely. Not only do I want to take you, but I also want to take a man named Mike. After all, we have an agreement, that is Matrix V. You have not forgotten the agreement of Matrix 5. If Mike hears your words, he will definitely be so moved that he kneels on the ground and cries loudly. It also indicates that you are about to return to the institution where you were imprisoned. Wealth plus 10 by 2. Current wealth, 720, crit. Stealth plus 10 by 2. Current stealth, 500. Invisibility reaches 500. Activate area invisibility. You can make an area of 10,000 square meters invisible instantly, and you will not receive any damage during the invisibility. Violence in violence. Healing blood plus 10 by 2. Current healing blood, 460. Mike. Never heard you say that. You will know each other sooner or later. Let's have dinner first and go to Zeus Bar later. After lunch. True White Dog drove to Zeus Bar alone. I want to see what the Zeus Bar is planning. Not long after. A BMW M3 rushed into the underground parking lot of Zeus Bar. Accompanied by the roar of the engine. The car flicked its tail and stopped not far from the elevator entrance. At the moment, there are quite a few men in suits standing on both sides of the elevator. They stood in 2 rows to make way for the elevator. When seeing Mew Bai's superb driving skills, his expression didn't change. But I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. After parking, Mew Bai concealed the Sony camera and glued it to the chest of the uniform. Ever since I planned to do some Duyanhao, he has to consider the material. And Zeus Bar invites this time. Undoubtedly, it gave Mew Bai a chance to increase his fans again. Mew Bai just glued the camera inside the car. 2 younger brothers came running from a distance. It seems that he wants to open the door for Mew Bai. But was ruthlessly rejected by Mew Bai. The whole person got out of the car without opening the door. This scene frightened everyone. But the man who had been staring at the monitor sneered. At the moment, a group is monitoring the room. Watch Mew Bai's every move through surveillance. Boss. No wonder he was able to kill Pattern, it turned out to be mutant. Interesting. The boss took out a cigar, and the younger brother at the side lit it immediately. Does the boss want to get rid of him immediately? If he doesn't come today, he will definitely die, but coming proves that he is capable, so there is no need to kill him. I have other plans. The boss was lying on the sofa chair and smoking a cigar leisurely. Little did he know that his words had been heard by Mew Bai. Soon Mew Bai was taken to the door of the monitoring room by his younger brother. The men in the room immediately closed the partition of the room. The original monitoring room instantly became a negotiable room. Boss, I brought the person. A younger brother knocked on the door first and said. Let him in. The man with the scar next to the boss yelled. The voice is very arrogant, as if to fight at any time. The door was pulled open. Mew Bai walked in at Connor's pace. I heard you want to hire me? How the hell are you talking to our boss? Mew Bai's attitude as soon as he entered the door made Scarface turn his face instantly. Raise the gun and point it at Mew Bai. Put down the gun. The boss's words made Scarian calm down instantly. Put away the gun, but stared fiercely at Mew Bai all the time. Vanessa isn't here. I stayed in the hotel with me last night and didn't sleep all night, which made her unable to get out of bed in the morning, so I didn't let her come. One sentence makes the opposite boss feel ashamed. The little brother next to me was very envious when he heard it. It is not only the strength that can make men envious, but also the driving skills. Wealth plus 10 by 2. Current wealth, 720, crit. Hacker plus 10 by 2. Current hacker, 30, violence in violence. Healing blood plus 10 by 2. Current healing blood, 480. We'll give Vanessa a high-paying job, and you'll pay a higher price. Are you trying to hire me to drink all the wine in the Big Garner bar? That way you're the only bar in town. You're quite humorous. The boss smiled while smoking a cigar. It was the first time I saw such a calm and talkative person in front of him. You know, women like men who are rich and humorous, but I have only achieved humor, but not rich. You only have money but not humor, so you give me money, and I will teach you to act in front of women. A talk show, a small profit but no loss business. The good cooperation has been turned into a talk show teaching by you. The boss's face can't hold back any longer. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 740. Crit, hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 50. Violence in violence, healing blood plus 10 by 2, current healing blood, 500. Healing blood reaches 500, activate super healing blood, drink your blood, no matter how serious the injury is, it will recover within 10 seconds. Boss, do you want to kill this kid? Seeing that the boss's face was not quite right, the Scarface on the side volunteered. He even spoke loudly for Mu Bai to hear. After the boss extinguished the cigar, he didn't answer Scarface's words, and looked up at Mu Bai again. I hired you not to be a talk show actor, but to help me kill people. Kill? If I record this sentence and send it to the police station, I think you Zeus will close your business. Otherwise, if you play out of the routine, they really think that you are not here to discuss cooperation, but to be funny. Such a serious occasion has been making fun of the boss of the Zeus bar. This makes the big boss feel uncomfortable. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 760. Crit, hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 70. Violence in violence, actors acting skills plus 10 by 2, current actors acting skills, 40. What's the purpose of your 583 coming here? The boss's face was no longer calm. You can feel angry from the voice. The scarred face beside him was also ready to draw his gun again. Don't be nervous, just kidding with you. See, the atmosphere is no longer harmonious. Mu Bai covered his mouth and laughed and asked, tell me, who to kill? The boss gestured to one of his subordinates. Then the lights in the room were turned off. The projection hanging from the roof lights up. A portrait of a man appeared to the right of the crowd. I want you to kill someone named Logan, who is also a mutant. Logan? You want me to kill Wolverine for you? Mu Bai lay on the chair with his legs crossed. Unexpectedly, the target of the assassination would be Logan. You know him? Yes, Wolverine. Logan and I have known each other since World War E, when he cleaned my guns. They don't know how long Wolverine lived, but your words make them feel like they are joking. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 780, crit. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 90, violence in violence. Actors acting skills plus 10 by 2, current actors acting skills, 60. If you know him better, I can give you more commission, and then kill him. After all, the more familiar the person, the easier it is to attack. The boss smoked a cigar again. The scarred face next to him snapped his fingers, and a small flame ignited at his fingertips. Aroused Mu Bai's curiosity, are you mutant too? You are not the only mutant here, so don't think too hard about yourself. As long as the boss is willing, you can't leave alive. Scar's face was full of disdain. He completely regards Mu Bai as a newborn Xiao Bai who is not afraid of tigers. Ask questions as if you have never seen the world. What's your power? Do I have to tell you? I guess your ability must be a lighter. I didn't dare to say it because I was afraid of embarrassment. No wonder I have been with the boss all the time. Let me call you the lighter. Strike method. Scarface wants to scare you to death by telling you all about his powers. Wealth plus 10 by 2, current wealth, 800, wealth reaches 800, activate Sims, you will have 1000 Sims. Sims involve multiple fields, workers, lawyers, secretaries, finance, engineers, etc., can be qualified for any position. Crit, hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 110. Hacker reaches 100, activate the hacker, you have the technical skills of a top hacker. Violence in violence, actors acting skills plus 10 by 2, current actors acting skills, 80. Lighter? Do you want to taste the taste of being burnt? Wow. Suddenly, a flame burst out from Scarface's palm. Like a ball of fire in your hand. And Mu Bai applauded immediately. Not bad, not bad, I can get the fireball skill again in a while. How about it, do you accept this business? The boss suddenly asked. If I don't say a few more words, I feel that the whole person has no sense of existence. Definitely accepted. How much do you pay? 5 million. 50,075. Mu Bai suddenly said in surprise. The boss on the opposite side was surprised to see Mu Bai's high price of 5 million. I feel like I've said a bit too much. At the same time, I also believe that Mu Bai is really the kind of little white who is easy to deceive. Only 5 million. Logan is the most popular X-Men anyway, with Edelman's metal skeleton and deadly Wolverine claws. What's even more perverted is his amazing healing ability and extremely rich combat experience. To deal with such a mutant with 5 million, is it too little? If it's against Wolverine's brother Sabretooth, I'll accept 5 million commissions. One sentence separates the worth of Wolverine and his brother Sabretooth. Your words shocked the boss on the other side. You can tell all of Wolverine's abilities in such detail, as well as abilities they don't understand. You are simply more professional than them. One sentence makes the boss see that you are not a simple master. You have been pretending from the beginning to now. Adamantium Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2, current Adamantium Wolf Claws, 20. Crit, hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 130. Violence in violence, actors acting skills plus 10 by 2, current actors acting skills, 100. Actor's acting skills reach 100. Activate the actor. Your acting skills are impeccable, it is easy to convince people. I suggest that you don't treat me as a noob who doesn't know anything. Mu Bai's words made everyone look at each other and smile. Soon the boss gave a new price, as long as you kill Logan, I will give you 30 million. Mu Bai didn't speak, his calm attitude made the boss raise the price again, kill Logan and I'll give you 50 million. Why kill Logan? Because he caused trouble in our bar and killed several very important customers of ours, and now those customers and we all need Logan's head. If I didn't let him escape in the end, I would definitely burn him to death. Scarface vowed to add a sentence, but it made Mu Bai roar with laughter. Do you want to burn Logan to death with your nameless little character? Are you dreaming? Then how much do you want? The boss asked with a straight face. 5Z. What? Ha ha ha. After being surprised, Nabong laughed instead. You didn't come here with any intention of reconciling, did you? Of course, after all, you didn't intend to pay me. You just wanted to use my hand to kill Logan. After all, Logan is from the X-Men, and you didn't dare to kill him at all, so you chose to let me be an outsider. Go. Even if I can't kill Logan, there is no loss for you, and killing me by Logan's hand is also in your plan. It seems to be in a trap, but actually sees through everything. The boss admires you very much, but at the same time, he is also moved to kill you. Knowing too much, and revealing it, it would be a bit unjustifiable not to kill you on the spot. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 130, crit. Eye of Insight plus 10 by 2, current Eye of Insight, 20. Violence in Violence, spiritual immunity won the crit lottery, directly reaching 200. Psychic immunity reaches 200, activate mental countermeasures, when the enemy casts mind control on you, you can object to control him. Wonderful. The boss looked up and applauded. The Scarface on the side is also laughing. See, both of them are laughing. Mu Bai also laughed out loud. Boom. The three of them continued to laugh. Gunshots sounded behind Mu Bai. There were only two people in the room laughing louder. The back of Mu Bai's head was pierced by a bullet. He died on the spot with his head lying on the table. Blood continued to flow from the bullet holes in his head. I'm dying of laughter. The boss wiped away the tears from the corners of his eyes and stood up. The scarred face on the side felt unsatisfactory, took out his gun and fired several times at the corpse. I thought it was an awesome mutant, but it turned out to be a waste. $500 is too much for me to hire this guy. Scarface laughed continuously while shooting. It's a pity that I met such an interesting person for the first time, and he opened his mouth and asked me for 500 million. When the boss mentioned 500 million, the two laughed again. If you really have the strength, that's fine. If you don't have any strength, you dare to come to my Zeus bar to make trouble. It's cheap to kill him directly. The boss put on his coat and left the room. Scarface followed behind and lit another cigar for the boss. The rest of the boys in the room quickly cleaned up the scene. The boss finished dealing with Vanessa's boyfriend. What should Vanessa do? Tie up Vanessa and bring me to my room tonight. I want to see if her legs are okay. The two talked and laughed and came to the wine cabinet. Scarface reached for a bottle of good wine. But when you hold it in your hand, you can clearly feel that the bottle is very light. When I looked again, I found that there was no wine in the bottle. He didn't care, so he picked up another bottle. Also light and fluffy. Quickly put down and took several bottles of wine in a row. The result is empty bottles. This made Scarface a little puzzled. Hey, come here. He said hello. A bartender rushed over immediately. Boss, brother Scar. I'm asking you, the guy in the red tights drank all the wine in that liquor cabinet yesterday. Over there, because they were all drunk, we emptied all the empty wine bottles, and we will serve new wine later. The waiter pointed in the direction. Scarface turned his head and saw the empty wine cabinet 10 meters behind him. He drank from the wine cabinet, so why are all the wines here empty? Could it be that the empty wine bottles are all here? Available. The waiter didn't believe it and immediately picked up a bottle to check. Then it was confirmed that the wine bottles in the wine cabinet were empty. These wines are also expensive. Put it on display in the wine cabinet just for rich people to buy it. So no empty bottles at all. In addition, someone checks the wine in the wine cabinet every day. The sudden appearance of an empty wine bottle in the wine cabinet seemed very strange. I am not sure as well. Don't know? Scarface slapped the waiter to the ground. Hurry up and get your manager over here. The waiter crawled and crawled to find the manager. The manager hurried over upon hearing the sound. Same question asked the manager again. The manager also took a look at the wine cabinets and found that they were all empty. His face was full of surprise. Maybe all the empty wine bottles from yesterday are here. Who put it on? My mother forced me to pose. The waiter next to him said tremblingly, Your mother forced it? Yes, my mother forced it. Call your mother over here. She's off today. Call and find out what's going on. The waiter was stunned for a moment. I ran to the back crying and called. Sorry boss, the new waiter is a bit stupid, let's have a drink first. The boss walked to another wine cabinet with a straight face. Scarface followed closely and poured wine for the boss. But when I got it, I found that it was also an empty wine bottle. Suddenly he was a little suspicious of life. Immediately looked at and found that they were all empty wine bottles. What's going on? Why are they all empty? After speaking, he hurriedly ran to the other 2 wine cabinets. It turned out that they were all empty bottles of wine. The manager is here. The manager trembled with fright at the call and quickly followed. What's going on? Why are all the wine cabinets full of empty wine bottles? It's all empty. How is it possible? I checked everything myself this morning. The manager didn't believe it and checked one by one and found that it was so. But at this moment, a waiter's voice came from the warehouse direction. Several people ran over immediately when they heard the sound. I saw the waiter running out of the warehouse in a panic. What's wrong? There were people in the warehouse, there were people drinking in there. Someone? Scarface was the first to rush into the wine warehouse. At first glance, I saw the messy appearance in the warehouse. The ground is full of bottles of various expensive red wines. Mu Bai was lying on the wine rack holding 4 bottles of red wine. The mouths of the 4 bottles of red wine were docked with Mu Bai's mouth. He was pouring wine into it. Hey, what are you doing? Scarface yelled. Mu Bai didn't care. After blowing 4 bottles of wine in a row, the empty wine bottles were thrown on the ground. Hiccuping and looking at the bewildered 3. Don't bother me, I'm getting drunk again. I've had a warehouse drink and I'm a little tipsy now. 1,000 cups never pour. One warehouse's high-end wine worth hundreds of millions will make you feel intoxicated. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 150, crit. Eye of insight plus 10 by 2, current eye of insight, 40. Violence and violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 220. I saw empty wine bottles in a warehouse of warehouses. The boss feels dizzy. He took a few steps back and fell to the ground. He hit the back of his head on the warehouse threshold as he fell. Before Mu Bai could make a move, there was a whine on the spot. Boss. Boss. What's wrong with you? Scarface and the manager immediately came to the boss. Put your fingers under the boss's nose and find that you are not breathing. Fack. Scarface yelled. A fireball was drawn out of the palm of his hand. Get up and throw towards Mu Bai. Mu Bai jumped up and kicked the flying fireball back. A fireball exploded between the 2 of them. The manager died instantly. Scarface was blown away by his own fireball. His face was bloody. I know you are very angry at the moment. It must be because the boss didn't settle the cigarette money with you before he died. A mutant who knows how to fireballs is reduced to using his ability to light cigarettes for people. It seems that no one can escape the shackles of reality. Mocking Scarface willingly becoming someone else's cigarette lighter for money. Scarface blamed you for the boss's death, and he vowed to kill you. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 170, crit. Eye of insight plus 10 by 2, current eye of insight, 60. Violence and violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 240. I will burn you to ashes. Scarface gritted his teeth and stared at Mu Bai. Wipe out fireballs with both hands at the same time. He threw it towards Mu Bai with all his strength. Mu Bai stood there as if possessed by a goalkeeper. The 2 fireballs that flew in were all kicked back. 2 fireballs exploded on both sides of Scar's face, one left and one right. It is equivalent to Scarface releasing the fireball by himself. After the explosion, Scarface's body was blasted to a bloody mess. But he still has breath, still struggling to get up. He raised his trembling right hand. A faint fireball appeared on the palm of the hand. It's just that he didn't see Mu Bai again. At the moment Mu Bai took out a cigar from the owner's pocket. Then stand next to Scarface and light a cigarette with a fireball. Not to mention that lighting a cigar with a fireball feels particularly positive. It's a pity that this fireball is not used to light cigarettes. It's no wonder the boss hired you as a bodyguard. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Understand the nature of Scarface's work. At the same time, it also ridiculed that the ability of Scarface is only qualified to light cigarettes, not to fight head-on with oneself. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current hacker, 190, crit. Eye of insight plus 10 by 2, current eye of insight, 80. Violence and violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 260. Hear voices next to him. Scarface turned his head and saw Mu Bai. Just about to throw a fireball at Mu Bai. I was suddenly grabbed by the wrist and couldn't move. You don't beg for mercy after all this, I respect you for being a man. Mu Bai took a big puff of his cigar and spit out the smoke ring on Scarface's face. Then he grabbed the fireball in Scarface's hand with his bare hands. Punched him in the stomach. Scar's face hurt and opened his mouth. Mu Bai stuffed the fireball into his mouth, and make him shut up. Boom. The fireball exploded in Scarface's mouth. His whole head was blown apart. Blood and brains splashed all over the body of the dead boss. Discovered to devour corpses, whether to swallow. Swallow, it is devouring, please do not move. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engulfed, fireball plus 60, current fireball, 60. Fake. I only gave 60 skill fragments, at least give some skill fragments of Shenhu, Shiranui or Kagero. Appropriately mentioned the unique skill of Fire Fist Ace. Fire Fist plus 10 by 2, current Fire Fist, 20, crit. Fire Gun plus 10 by 2, current Firearm, 20, violence in violence. Yang Yan plus 10 by 2, current Yang Yan is 20 after devouring the Scarface. The waiter who had just shouted out led a group of people to the warehouse. He saw 2 people lying motionless on the ground. And blood all over the floor. Everyone froze in place. Don't bother you to go together, I'm in a hurry, the audience is tired every day dueling, and I'm tired too. A sentence that seems very suitable for the occasion, but actually plagiarized the lyrics. Fire Fist plus 10 by 2, current Fire Fist, 40, crit. Musket plus 10 by 2, current Musket, 40, violence in violence. Yang Yan plus 10 by 2, current Yang Yan, 40, everyone saw that there was only one Mu Bai. And there is no weapon in hand. Everyone took out the pistols on their waists and shot Mu Bai. Bang bang. 8 people fired at the same time. Mu Bai stood still and flicked left and right. Dodge all incoming bullets with body movements alone. Until the 8-man magazine on the opposite side was shot empty. Several people found out that Mu Bai was fine. Ah. Then everyone yelled and ran outside. Brush. But a wind knife followed. Quickly cut 6 people in half. If you run away at the beginning, I will definitely not stop you, but it is absolutely impossible to run away after shooting. Mu Bai stepped over the corpse and came outside. Everyone at the moment bar was killed. An empty bar has become an unruly territory. Suddenly Mu Bai had a whim. Turn on all the lights in the bar. On the other hand, I learned how to play DJ on stage. Feeling alone is not enough. All of a sudden, 10 duplications were separated and danced together on the dance floor. Played for a while. Mu Bai turned off the loud music. And the 10 duplications in the middle of the dance floor seemed not enough. The music stopped and it was still twisting and turning. Hey, I didn't ask you to come out and play disco, come here for me. 10 duplications heard Mu Bai's order. One by one, they stood neatly in front of Mu Bai and counted. Because the owner of this bar, including the bar staff, is dead, and is the only survivor of the bar, I am obliged to inherit the Zeus bar. Speaking of the occupation of the bar in an orderly manner. The duplications will know that you plan to take over the bar. Fire Fist plus 10 by 2, current Fire Fist, 60, crit. Musket plus 10 by 2, current Musket, 60, violence in violence. Yang Yan plus 10 by 2, current Yang Yan, 60. There are too many corpses in the warehouse, you guys should go clean up first, and then follow the arrangement. Yes. 10 people shouted in unison. Then Chi Shushua picked up the sanitary tools and rushed towards the warehouse. Some duplications have Mu Bai's wind knife and double knife proficiency. He cut the body into small pieces and dumped them all in the toilet. Some duplications have the wind speed and power to quickly dry the blood on the ground with a mop. All other duplications are also clearly divided. Clean up, organize empty wine bottles, organize shelves and more. While the duplications are working, Mu Bai called Vanessa. Get Vanessa ready for someone to pick her up later. And Vanessa was picked up by a duplication wearing a suit and driving the boss Mercedes-Benz Big G. Saw Mu Bai in the car in the new car. Vanessa got into the car with a look of excitement. Mu Bai, you're not going to be a driver for Zeus's boss, are you? Vanessa was originally joking, but duplication 15110 tells the whole story. That's right, because I imitated the skills of a professional racing driver, so the owner let me be the driver. Master? These 2 words made Vanessa call out directly. Although the 2 also acted as masters at night. But in broad daylight Mu Bai calls the bar owner the owner. Vanessa didn't find it funny. She didn't understand that she hadn't seen her for a few hours. Why did the always arrogant Miu Bai suddenly call the owner of the bar as the owner? Miu Bai, don't scare me. What's going on? Why do you want that bastard to be ashamed? Warning you not to call my master a bastard. Duplication shot Vanessa a hard look. Vanessa was frightened by her eyes and was about to jump out of the car. But then Duplication slams the steering wheel. Vanessa turned straight to the other side. Let me get out of the car. I will definitely complete the task assigned to me by the master. After speaking, he slammed on the accelerator and took Vanessa to the Zeus bar. Miu Bai. What's wrong with you? Vanessa cried in the back seat. Miu Bai, who is driving in front of him, has nothing but driving skills. Nothing else is like Miu Bai. Not just calling the owner of the bar. He is also cold to himself. Completely changed a person. Until the car drove to the elevator door of Zeus bar. Only then slowly stopped. Vanessa immediately opened the car door and prepared to escape. But as soon as he opened the door, he saw two other people who looked exactly like Miu Bai standing outside. Oh my god. Vanessa covered her mouth in surprise. 3 Miu Bai. What the hell is going on? Don't be afraid, dear, the Lord is here. At this time Miu Bai came out from the elevator wearing Deadpool uniform. The bright red uniform directly distinguishes him from Duplication. Because Duplication can't separate out redundant Deadpool suits. So every Duplication wears the casual clothes that Miu Bai often wears. Are you Miu Bai too? Vanessa's body is a little fluttering. Miu Bai quickly went to her side to support her and explained, listen, these are my duplications, not real people. Your duplication? Vanessa's eyes widened again. You still have duplication. I never asked about your ability before Miu Bai, but you should tell me today, right? I think it's better for you to keep the advantage of not asking. Sentence to block Vanessa's curiosity. Except myself, I will not let the second person know anything about you. Fire Fist plus 10 by 2, current Fire Fist, 80, crit. Fire Gun plus 10 by 2, current Firearm, 80, violence in violence. Yang Yan plus 10 by 2, current Yang Yan, 80, okay. Vanessa gently wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes. She was indeed a little scared just now. The driver who is afraid to drive is Miu Bai himself. Now with Miu Bai explaining, Vanessa readily accepts the fact of duplication. Why are you crying? Fine. When a woman says it's okay, it's usually something. After speaking, he chopped off the head of Duplication sitting in the driver's seat. No one can bully my women except me, even my Duplication. Loving wife and good man, your words sounded the alarm for Duplications. They will treat Vanessa as respectfully as they treat Lafayette. Fire Fist plus 10 by 2, current Fire Fist, 100. Fire Fist reaches 100, activates Fire Fist level 1, turns the arm into a huge flame with super high temperature. The temperature of the flame of the fist can be determined by the flow blade like fire. Crit, Musket plus 10 by 2, current Musket, 100. Firelock reaches 100, activate Firearm level 1, use the index finger and middle finger of both hands to point at the opponent like a gun, and then use the fingertips to shoot continuous small flames at the enemy to attack the opponent, which is as powerful as a pistol. Violence in violence, Yang Yan plus 10 by 2, current Yang Yan is 100. Yangan reaches 100, activate Yangan level 1, turn your arm into flames and then shoot a beam of fire from your palm to attack the enemy. Just now, Vanessa was very moved after hearing this. While shedding tears, she gave Miu Bai a big hug. Miu Bai picked her up and carried her into the Zeus bar. See, this is the bar my brother set up for you. Put Vanessa on the ground after entering the bar. Vanessa was unable to extricate herself from the beautiful stage for a while. Where's the barkeeper? In the toilet. Toilet. You wouldn't just stuff him into the toilet and suffocate him. This trick is good, but unfortunately I didn't do it, but cut it into shredded fish-flavored pork and threw it into the toilet. At the moment, he should be targeted by the rats in the sewer. Explained the whereabouts of the boss by cooking. Others can't hear the flaw at all. Hacker plus 10 by 2, current Hacker, 210. Hacking reaches 200, activate hacking. You can hack and control the electronic system through your mind without a computer. Crit, Eye of Insight plus 10 by 2, current Eye of Insight, 100. Eye of Insight reaches 10, clear insight is activated, you can see invisible objects, and even ghosts. Violence in violence, Mind Control plus 10 by 2, current Mind Control, 280. What about the rest? It's the same as the bar owner, but the toilet number is different. I don't think I'll ever go to the bathroom in a bar again. Vanessa complained helplessly. Already starting to think the bar toilets are disgusting. You can do whatever you want, Anyway, this bar will be yours from now on, and I will keep a few stronger duplications as protection. Stay duplication? You're not going to run this bar with me? Brother is only suitable for drinking, not for participating in business matters. In addition, I have important things to deal with, so I won't stay in one place all the time. Okay then, I'll take care of the bar for you, and you can take the bar away as long as you need it. Hey, everyone come here now. Mubai's voice was transmitted to everyone's ears. Soon 9 duplication came to the front. Owner. 9 big men shouted at the master at the same time. The most important thing is exactly the same as Mubai. This made Mubai feel extremely embarrassed. Don't call me master, call us big brother and sister-in-law from now on. Brother. Sister-in-law. What did Mubai say? Do all the duplication. How many duplications do you want? 2 or 3 strong ones are enough. I don't want to see many of you walking around the bar every day. He's fast, he's strong, and he can punch. When the bar thug Logan comes, he's going to get beaten. He has clairvoyance, hearing, and mind-reading skills. No one can escape his eyes during the security check. He has sound transmission, wind speed, unlimited physical strength, and he can be the first to contact me every day if there is something. Mubai patted the selected 3. Your duplication is so powerful? Vanessa was a little surprised. He thought duplication was just an ordinary person. I never thought that duplication also has abilities. And each has 3 abilities. Even if you switch to X-Men, I'm afraid it's not as powerful as Mubai's duplication. I'm good, duplication is naturally good. From now on, the 3 of you will stay in the bar to protect Vanessa. I will not take you back for the time being, and the rest of you will disband in place. After talking about the rest of the duplication, it turned into a wisp of smoke and disappeared in place. There is law and order, now I don't need to find employees. Employees don't have to worry, I have 1,000 freelancers at my disposal. Clapped hands. 50 employees with different appearances walked out from the employee passageway. They are all analogues of Mubai. Everyone is assigned to a different position. And the professionalism is top-notch. The 50 people are bartenders, bar marketing, bar atmosphere group, bar DJ, bar singers, dancers, cleaners and so on. So many people. Vanessa looked at the 50 people approaching in surprise. They're all staff I poached from other bars and they're all great. You can dispatch them as you like. As for the salary, you don't have to worry about it. I will make the financial payment on time. Dispelling Vanessa's concerns. The existence of the virtual person is covered up by the reason of poaching people. Vanessa has already believed that the person in front of you was poached from another hotel by you. Sonic speed plus 10 by 2, current sound speed, 20. Crit, VIP Deacon plus 10 by 2, current VIP Deacon, 120. Violence in violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 300. Mind control reaches 300, activate eye control, you don't need to speak, just look at the enemy's eyes to control it. Mubai, you really surprised me. Vanessa was so excited that she didn't know what to say and turned around and hugged Mubai. She has always had the idea of opening a bar. Now Mubai has helped her realize her wish. Also gave her a luxurious and high-end bar. Even on the personnel headache, Mubai keeps things organized. From now on, Mubai occupies the most important position in Vanessa's heart. Even with Wade back, my love for Mubai will not be lessened. Just when the two hugged and kissed, Mubai accidentally caught a glimpse of the TV on the bartender. A piece of temporary news is being broadcast on TV. The place where the news was broadcast was the mutant juvenile prison where Devin was being held. Just move your mind. The TV, which was originally silent, suddenly resumed its volume. An Asian female reporter on TV is reporting what happened to the mutant juvenile. There was a sudden riot at the mutant juvenile camp this afternoon. The delinquent teenagers who were originally imprisoned there disappeared collectively. I learned from the staff who escaped that this case may be related to a boy who just arrived at the juvenile detention center. And that boy named Devin, at the moment, is hiding out in juvenile detention. Currently the X-Men are on their way. Remind the ever-bright audience to stay away from the juvenile prison to avoid being attacked. Looking at the reports in the news, Mubai knew it was time to act. He let go of Vanessa's embrace and kissed her forehead lightly. Brother is leaving now, and I will leave the rest to you. Where are you going? Go get the X-Men. After speaking, Mubai disappeared into the bar in a flash. Followed by the roar of cars in the underground parking lot. The reason why Mubai has the hacking ability. He can control any electronic device in the car with his consciousness. Navigating to mutant juvenile facility. Devin is a kid who can be dealt with, and he has already caused a sensation in less than half a day after being sent in. Get your recognition of Devin from the language. The original plan was to break into the juvenile prison to save people, causing a sensation and then attracting the X-Men. Now Devin has completed the plan directly by himself and has been favored by you. Sonic speed plus 10 by 2, current sound speed, 40. Crit, VIP Deacon plus 10 by 2, current VIP Deacon, 140. Violence in violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 320. Control the green light all the way. Mew Bai drove quickly to the mutant juvenile prison. At the moment, the intersection leading to mutant juvenile prison has been blocked by a cordon. Police cars were parked densely inside. There are even helicopters hovering in the sky. Stop. You can't go any further. A policeman watches a car parked in front of the cordon. And Mew Bai at the moment just got out of the car. Leave quickly, there may be danger here at any time. Sorry. I'm the X-Men, and I'm here to deal with danger. Are you an X-Men? Seeing Mew Bai's strange dress, the policeman scratched his head. As cops they often deal with the X-Men, but never saw Mew Bai. Yes, the new X-Men who just took office. Professor X specially asked me to come over because of the riot in the mutant juvenile tube. This remark increases the trust value of the police. Although I was puzzled, I still decided to let you in. After all, mutants are dangerous guys, they are not willing to risk their lives to go in and die. It would be best if there are vigilantes willing to go in. Sonic speed plus 10 by 2, current sound speed, 60. Crit, VIP Deacon plus 10 by 2, current VIP Deacon, 160. Violence in violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 340. Just yourself and no one else. The police looked again at the car behind Mew Bai. Make sure no one gets out of the car again. One is enough for me. It's full of mutants who don't obey discipline. I advise you to wait until the X-Men support arrives. In your eyes, they are dangerous mutants, but in my eyes, they are just a group of children who have not grown their hair. One slap is enough to deal with them. Your self-confidence makes the police think you must be strong. More trust that you are the X-Men. Sonic speed plus 10 by 2, current sound speed, 80. Crit, VIP Deacon plus 10 by 2, current VIP Deacon, 180. Violence in violence mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 360. Just finished. Mew Bai disappeared directly in front of the police. The police looked around in a daze, after confirming that Mew Bai is gone. A little more recognition of his strength. After all, people who can disappear instantly in the movie will be very strong. In the blink of an eye, Mew Bai entered the juvenile prison. It's like there's been a war in there. The walls are dilapidated. The desks and chairs in the classroom are crumbling. Mew Bai immediately turned on the telescopic view. Devin was found hiding in the closet of the locker room on the first floor. Devin, what are you doing? Devin, who was still hiding, suddenly heard Mew Bai's voice. I was taken aback for a moment. Then the expression changes in microseconds. It was like a missing child suddenly hearing the voices of their parents. Master, save me. Devin whispered in a crying voice. Don't be afraid, no one will dare to touch you after brother comes. Go quickly to the locker room on the first floor. Pull open the door of the locker with bare hands. Devin got up and threw himself into Mew Bai's arms. After going through a period of mental torture, I felt that Mew Bai's embrace was the most secure. Don't cry. I didn't expect you to be locked in the locker when you first arrived. No, it's the person I hide inside. What's going on? Didn't you create the riot in the juvenile detention center? Devin shook his head violently. It wasn't me. We were in the room when suddenly a group of people appeared out of nowhere, and then they came to catch us like stray dogs. Appear out of thin air to catch you? Yes, those people are also mutants. We are not opponents at all. Do you know who is arresting you? Not sure, but I heard a woman call another man Wade, and he was wearing the same uniform as your spoon. Wade? In the same uniform as me? There are a lot of people named Wade, but if you're wearing the same uniform as me, it's definitely Deadpool. It's just that I didn't expect that Wade would choose to join Magneto when I was away. Since there is Wade, it proves that Ajax has started crazily arresting people for experiments again. In the past, we used to catch ordinary people, but now we save the intermediate steps and start to catch mutants. Clear thinking. At the same time, let Devin hear that you seem to know the identities of those people. And it looks very familiar. Sonic speed plus 10 by 2, current sound speed, 100. The speed of sound reaches 100. Activate the speed of sound. Your speed rises to another level, and the speed reaches the speed of sound. Crit, VIP Deacon plus 10 by 2, current VIP Deacon, 200. VIP Deacon reaches 200, get a skill point, 373, please choose the following 3 VIP skills. VIP Global Invisibility. Your invisibility magnetic field will have no distance limit, and the continuous release of the invisibility magnetic field will expand infinitely, so the Earth will be invisible in the universe. VIP Regenerative Healing Factor Revenge. Enemies who deal fatal damage to you will receive the same damage. VIP Stand-in Shifting. Not only can you stand in for yourself, but you can also stand in for other objects. You can control any 2 objects to change positions within the visible range of the naked eye. The first one will have little effect unless the Trisolaran civilization discovers Earth. Secondly, I already have the ability of a second person, so there is no need to have more chicken ribs. The third one is rather interesting. Perspective plus farsightedness means that I can replace objects at a super long distance. Choose 3. Obtain VIP Double Shift. Did you know those people? Definitely no. The man who imitated my uniform, the supernatural ability on him was not performed by me. The scene of Wade throwing up a wave suddenly appeared in Mubai's mind. His ability is related to you. Who are you? Devon let go of Mubai's arms. After landing, he quickly retreated to a position 5 or 6 meters away. I've worked there before and made quite a few mutants. Your words made Devon realize something was wrong. Have regarded you as a hidden villain. Guess your purpose is to find the Mutant Academy. Daiwan is thankful that he doesn't know the location, otherwise he will definitely expose Mutant Academy as a traitor. Water Body plus 10 by 2, current Water Body, 40, crit. Water Control Skill plus 10 by 2, current Water Control Book, 40. Violence in Violence, Water Absorption plus 20 by 2, current Water Absorption, 40. I thought you were a funny guy, but I didn't expect you to be in the same league with them, all bad guys who support Magneto. Supporting Magneto is a bad guy. In fact, Magneto is not really a bad guy, it just has a different concept from Professor X. Professor X is relatively simple. He believes that mutants must be able to live in harmony with humans. He is so simple that he is unwilling to use powerful spiritual power to erase or rewrite ordinary people's prejudice against mutants. Instead, he wants to use the image of the X-Men to restore ordinary people's prejudices against mutants. Prejudice. The result can only be the same as the whites and blacks in the United States, and the discrimination on the surface will not change. And Magneto has experienced the worst of human nature, and he knows how dark the world is. As long as you have experienced what happened to Magneto, you will definitely think that Magneto is right, but his plan is too grand. Or it will not be possible for hundreds of years. Explained the concept of Professor X and Magneto in detail with Devon. But Devon is still young and doesn't understand Magneto at all. Water Body plus 10 by 2, current Water Body, 60, crit. Water Control Skill plus 10 by 2, current Water Control Book, 60. Violence in Violence. Water Absorption plus 20x2, current Water Absorption, 60. You have talked so much, do you want me to join you? Oh boy, if you think too much, your abilities can only be used for sneak attacks but not for big scenes. You actually questioned my strength. Devon can't wait to transform into a vampire and have a duel with Mubai. The premise is that Mubai does not release Cyclops. Having said so much, so you are from the Magneto camp, and now you want to try to recruit a child to join you? At this time, a tall man wearing spotting glasses walked in. Scott. See Scott appear. Devon rushed over as if seeing a savior. I didn't expect the X-Men to arrive so soon. Mubai had a look of joy on his face. Watch the 3 X-Men come in. They are Cyclops Scott, Beast Henry McCoy, Shockwave Alex Summers. Devon, are you okay? It's all right, he's from Magneto, and he wants to know where the Mutant Academy is. Devon stared at Mubai with the eyes of a villain. I'm from Magneto, you're overestimating Magneto. I think my brother almost killed Magneto back then, how could he become Magneto's man? You almost killed Magneto? Your words shocked the X-Men. So far, the X-Men and Magneto have fought several times, but they have not won any results. If you really almost killed Magneto, you must be strong. Water Body plus 10 by 2, current Water Body, 80, crit. Water Control Skill plus 10 by 2, current Water Control Book, 80. Violence in Violence, Water Absorption plus 20 by 2, current Water Absorption, 80. Hear about Mubai's record. The 3 looked at each other. Several of them have fought Magneto. With Magneto's ability, they were thrown around like chickens. Don't worry Scott, he's a braggart, so don't believe anything he says. With Dai Wen's words, Mubai's newly established aggressive style disappeared in an instant. Devon, am I a braggart in your eyes? Mubai stared at Devon. Then he waved his hand. Devin, who was standing next to Scott, exchanged places with a bar of soap in the locker. See Mew by hands on. The three X-Men who stood still definitely refused to let go. But the ability has not been activated. The three of them also exchanged places with the items in the locker in an instant. Chi Shushua was locked inside. Boom. A laser shot through the locker. Scott walked out easily. Shockwave also blasted open the locker door. Beast punched the locker door 0.0 away with his fist. Devin was left with nothing to do with the locker. From now on, no one cares about Devin, he will pay the price for what he just said. Devin regrets that you were bragging, I thought 3 X-Men could easily beat you with you. It seems a bit premature to say now. Water body plus 10 by 2, current water body, 100. Water body reaches 100, activate the water body, any part of your body can be hydrated immediately. Crit. Water control plus 10 by 2, current water control book, 100. Water control reaches 100, activate water control, you can control the surrounding water source to change into any shape to attack the enemy. Violence in violence, water absorption plus 20 by 2, current water absorption, 100. Water absorption is achieved, activate the absorption of water, your body can store 5 tons of water, and it can be used with water control. You are indeed related to the disappearance case in the juvenile prison. Scott's eyes glowed red. Mew Bai wants to play with him on a whim. The eyes flashed red at the same time. In the next second, the two laser beams collided together. A dazzling ball of light flashed at the center. And Scott, who was facing the wave, felt a little surprised in his heart. He didn't expect to meet a mutant who also had lasers like him. If the two are on the same front, there will definitely be a lot of topics. But Scott has already regarded Mew Bai as an enemy. For the enemy, there is only laser and no topic. It's just that the two lasers shot at each other for more than 1 minute. Always in a state of balance. No one has seen any signs of overtaking. Brother can ejaculate like this for a day, I don't know how long you can last. Your words are very confident and relaxed, it hit Scott's heart. It was the first time he met a well-matched opponent. In normal times, Cyclops can almost instantly kill the enemy. At the moment Scott is already feeling tired. Cyclops plus 10 by 2, current Cyclops, 120. Crit Cyclops plus 10 by 2, current Cyclops, 140. Violence in violence, Cyclops won the crit lottery, directly upgraded to a level. Cyclops reaches 200, activates the second stage of Cyclops, and the power is increased by 3 times. Boom. The laser light after the upgrade is like floodwater. In the next second, he overtook and blew Scott out. The other two were in a bad mood. They launched attacks one after another. But it also can't resist Cyclops after Mew Bai upgrade. The two were rushed out of the house by the laser light hitting the wall all the way. The body landed on the lawn outside. The reporters and the police who stayed outside saw the X-Men who had just entered and suddenly flew out. Involuntarily widened his eyes and opened his mouth. With a look of astonishment. Fact, that guy has more lasers than Scott. Shockwave struggled to get up. Scott was slightly better at first, but after the guy finished speaking, the power of the Cyclops suddenly exploded for some reason. Beast patted his body and stood up. The two could have been on their stomachs. But helplessly, there were countless pairs of eyes staring at them not far away. They don't want the news of the X-Men's defeat appearing on TV. What should we do now? Shockwave asked, resisting the pain in his abdomen. Let's go in first, it's not convenient to stand outside all the time. After speaking, the two rushed into the juvenile prison again. Seeing that Beast and Shockwave rushed in like nothing happened. The reporters and the police not far away had renewed hope. Let's hope it's not the X-Men that fly out next time. It's terrorists shot out by the X-Men. Wait, that laser shot made my stomach hurt. Shockwave ran in without taking 2 steps, he quickly found a hidden classroom. He leaned his back against the wall and sat down slowly. He put his hands over his belly and looked less optimistic. I also have chest tightness, I have tried Scott's laser, and I have never felt such pain. Beast is a bit stronger against blows. He didn't sit down but leaned his back against the wall. I knew Logan was here, only he can handle it. I don't know what happened to Scott, now we have to call backup. Beast pulled out a signal machine. But in the next second, there was an extra piece of soap where the two were staying. The two returned to the locker room. You didn't even play a full round, and you want to take a break? This sentence undoubtedly means that there is no one who can fight. The two were surprised by your weird special ability. Not only can release Cyclops but also can shift shape. Mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 400. Mind control reaches 400, Activate consciousness control. You can control the opponent with a single thought, but if the opponent has strong willpower, there is a chance to get out of control. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2. Current language solidification, 20. Violence in violence. Crit plus 10 by 2. Current crit, 120. Damn. What kind of freak are you? Beast gritted his teeth. The figure quickly rushed towards Mu Bai, but it was easily resolved by Mu Bai. Kicked into the locker. The pain in Shockwave's stomach hasn't gone away, but had to fight before unleashing Shockwave. Kicked into the locker by Mu Bai in the same way. The person fainted from the pain. Of the three, only Beast is still dying. Forgive them. Devon kept staring out through the gap in the dressing closet. He also didn't expect Mu Bai to be so strong. The three powerful X-Men could not hold out for a single round in Mu Bai's hands. And you can see Mu Bai completely crushing them. Who said I was bragging just now? Devon realizes the mistake. He shouldn't offend you and say you're bragging. I thought your special ability was just invisible through walls. After seeing your strength with his own eyes, he already believed that he almost killed Magneto. A mutant who can almost kill Magneto. I am afraid that except for Professor X and Shin, no one in the Mutant Academy is an opponent. Resistibility plus 10 by 2. Current resistibility, 220. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2. Current language fixed line, 40. Violence in violence. Crit plus 10 by 2. Current crit, 140. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that you are bragging. You are indeed very good. Magneto is trash in front of you. If you have Professor X, a helmet immune to Magneto's 310 spiritual power, you will bow down to you. Keep talking. Mu Bai dragged Beast to the middle and sat on his body with his legs crossed. What Mutant Academy? What X-Men? Isn't it still the same as being beaten by you? The X-Men are nothing in front of you. Your strength piano is only worthy of washing your feet. Logan is only worthy of grinding your nails. Fine, stop. In the next second, Devon switched places with the soap on the ground. I saw myself coming out of the locker. Devon immediately smiled at Mu Bai. Did you just say the truth? That's right, it's all from the heart. If you still want to listen, I can continue to talk. No need, anyway, I have already recorded everything you just said, and I will play it for everyone to listen to when I arrive at Mutant Academy. As soon as these words came out, Devon instantly petrified. I didn't expect you to put one on. If the words just now were heard by the people of Mutant Academy, Devon would directly become a fringe figure. Instead of going back, it's better to stay in the juvenile prison. Resistibility plus 10 by 2. Current resistibility, 240. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2. Current language fixed line, 60. Violence in violence. Crit plus 10 by 2. Current crit, 160. Master. Boss. Dad. Please don't let them hear it. Devon had a sad face. Kneel in front of Mu Bai's knees and hug his legs. His face was full of tears of regret. It's useless to say anything now. Whoever made you offend me, I will pay back double to those who offended me. Heart of Stone let Devon know that you are a very vengeful person. I won't dare to provoke you again. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2. Current anti-strike ability, 260. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2. Current language fixed line, 80. Violence in violence. Crit plus 10 by 2. Current crit, 180. Devon, don't be afraid. Those are the words you said under coercion. Then came Scott's voice from the ruins. Scott appeared in front of the two with difficult steps. Good guy. Why buy your life like this? Learn more from the beast under my ass. Pretending to be dead is also a compulsory course in battle. There is a mockery that Beast deliberately pretended to be dead in order not to be beaten. Even if someone is sitting on the sofa, it will remain motionless. Although you discovered it, Beast will continue to maintain it. Otherwise, this will be his lifelong joke in front of Scott. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2. Current anti-strike ability, 280. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2. Current language fixed line, 100. Language fixed words reach 100. Activate language attack. What you speak will directly turn into text stones and fly out of your mouth, limited to single words, such as ah, no, yaw, hemp. Violence in violence. Crit plus 10 by 2. Current crit, 200. Crit strike reaches 200. 100% crit strike is activated, and double damage will be caused when attacking. As the captain of this operation, I will not let a bad person like you do evil. Even if I die, I will do my best. After speaking, Cyclops' eyes flashed red again. Mu Bai helplessly shook his head. backflip and get up and directly lift the beast who is lying on the ground and pretending to be dead. The painful beast yelled directly, "Stop, Scott, I'm alive." Scott stopped the laser light in surprise, but was knocked to the ground by beast flying over suddenly. Don't show your sense of justice in front of brother. Justice is not about letting you die with confidence. Your death can't touch others, it's just touching yourself. Attack that hits the heart directly. Scott's death is of little significance here, and will only make some people commemorate his bravery. But after a while people will forget. Instead of pursuing justice mindlessly, it is better to face failure and regain strength. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 300. When the fighting ability reaches 300, activate the 3 stages of fighting ability, increase the basic fighting ability by 10 times, you will become more resistant to fighting, and it is not a fixed value. The stronger the basic fighting ability, the higher the benefits you will get. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 120. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 220. Scott, stop fighting, you are no match for him. Devin quickly persuaded Scott to calm down. Beast lying on Scott's body also gave a reasonable analysis. This stopped Scott from continuing to be impulsive. What is your purpose in coming here? Definitely waiting for you X-Men to catch me and go back to Mutant Academy, but your strength is too weak. I don't think the word catch is suitable for you. Please, I can accept it. Stop dreaming, I will never take you back to Mutant Academy. Disagree. Are you sure? Very sure. Scott's eyes are unshakable. Even the cowardly beast agrees with Scott's thoughts in his heart. Okay, it's a man. I will strip you all naked and put them outside for the reporters to take pictures, and it will still be in the pose of an arhat. Mu Bai suddenly smiled badly. This kind of smile makes Scott's hair stand on end. Unexpected and deadly torture method. Arhat's naked body will undoubtedly cause the 3 X-Men to die directly, and they will have no face to appear in front of the fans again, which will shame the reputation of the X-Men. The few people who were still very determined just now immediately admit cowardly. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 320. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 140. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 240. It's okay if Scott agrees, after all, Professor X can deal with him. Beast said softly. Scott promised him. Shockwave, who was pretending to be dead, was also persuading. You. What do you want to do at Mutant Academy? Scott, who just swore that he would never take Mu Bai to Mutant Academy. Hearing the posture of stacking arhats, he can only be subdued. Go to Professor X to ask some personal questions, and chat with Raven by the way. You know Raven? Come on, every man wants to know Raven. Having him is like having all the women in the world. Why don't you choose Raven and go after Chin, who is often insane? This sentence contains your feelings for Raven. It's not Raven, the Blade of Exile, but Mystique Raven, who has the super ability to become anyone. With Raven Dick, you can also sleep with a goddess. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 340. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 160. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 260. Of Zhao. No matter what you want to do, it's best to put an end to all thoughts that are not good for Mutant Academy. There are some peaceful and kind people everywhere. Don't worry, Magneto and I are not in the same group. Magneto and Professor X are actually more inclined to Professor X. After all, ordinary people have the right to live. In addition, mutants are not purebred Earthlings, they are just the research products of the Celestial Group. The second half of the sentence they don't understand. But the first half sentence makes them feel at ease and alert. I don't know each other without fighting, so they misunderstood you. You are not a subordinate of Magneto. With the peeing nature of Magneto's subordinates, you have already done it, so you won't beep too much. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 340. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 160. 7 in the storm, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 260. So you're not from Magneto. Shockwave realized it was a misunderstanding. He immediately patted the ashes off his body and stood up. See, Shockwave is not installed. Beast also quickly got up. Pick up Scott by the way. I think I said that I'm not Magneto's subordinate? Yes, I said it. Devin immediately affirmed. Now there is a handle in Mu Bai's hands. At this moment, Devin just wants to try his best to please Mu Bai. So as not to embarrass myself to go back to Mutant Academy. I'm sorry. Because the staff here said that a man in a red tights attacked them, so at first glance you were the one they said. Brother actually doesn't like bumping shirts the most, change the color. After speaking, the red uniform immediately turned black. It's so cool that your clothes can change color. Devin, give up the pointless flattery, your recording is ready. Destroy Devin's hopes completely, he can only hope that Scott will explain it to him in time. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 360. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 200. Language fixed words reach 200, activate multi-word language attack. The words you speak will directly become words and hard stones will fly out of your mouth, which can be double words, such as went, gave, ran, daba. Storm in storm, 470, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 300. Critical strike reaches 300, activate triple critical strike, the attack you cause will cause triple damage. Scott, he knows who the mutants who attacked here are. What Devin said made the three of them instantly interested. That's right. Mu Bai said in Chinese. Immediately afterwards, 2 font stones with a length of 1 meter flew out of the mouth. Straight through the locker room wall. This scene undoubtedly frightened the 4 people present. This is the first time I have seen a mutant spitting out a big stone from its mouth. What's the situation? Can you spit stones out of your mouth? Both Beast and Shockwave looked at the flying stones curiously. Beast knows Chinese. Know that stone is a Chinese character. Yes. After speaking, Chinese stones flew out of his mouth again. Your special ability seems to be more than Cyclops. My master has many special abilities, but we only need one to deal with us. Devin is following me, and your flattering skills are getting better and better. Master, I already have this ability, but I don't have anyone to admire. Can you let me follow you every day? That's absolutely impossible. Sending you back to Mutant Academy will kill us. Since you know the mutant who attacked the juvenile prison, can you provide us with clues? I've got a ton of leads, and they're all explosive headlines. That. But now I don't have the time to explain to you. What's the matter after I go to Mutant Academy? I don't want to stand here forever. One sentence blocked everyone's curiosity. They decided to take you back to Mutant Academy. At least you know about this case and Professor X will let you tell the truth, maybe you can get more clues. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 380. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 220. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 320. After speaking, Mu Bai was the first to leave the locker room. Others followed closely behind. Several people came outside the juvenile prison. When seeing the X-Men come out, the reporters and police outside gave warm applause. The 3 of them were able to get out safely, representing the X-Men defeating the bad guys once again. The only thing a normal person can do is applaud. Thank you, everyone, for the applause you gave me. Without waiting for others behind him to speak, Mu Bai was the first to come before the reporter. For the unfamiliar and over-enthusiastic Mu Bai, the reporters frowned one by one, as if asking, who are you? Why are you so shameless? Who are you? I'm the new X-Men, codenamed Deadpool, everyone can be called Brother Mu. Black Deadpool. The new X-Men? Impossible, but every new X-Men will go on TV to promote themselves first, so that everyone can know. No way. Now that the X-Men are starting to be commercialized, don't tell me that mutant is managed by a company called Walt. Referring to the company in the black robe that relies on superpowers for profit. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 400. Resist fighting ability reaches 400, activate the 4th stage of fighting ability. Increase the basic fighting ability by 20 times, you will become more resistant to fighting, and it is not a fixed value, the stronger the basic fighting ability, the higher the benefits. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 240. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 340. To become an X-Men, you must be certified by the country in the Mutant Academy. After all, the X-Men are endowed with the responsibility to protect ordinary people and have some privileges. Not just anyone can become one. Scott, standing behind, said suddenly. Their speeches caused reporters to frantically take pictures. But after taking the photos, I found that the photos were full of Mu Bai. It feels more troublesome than being a civil servant. Forget it. Let me be the upcoming X-Men for now, because I have more records than all the X-Men combined, and it will be a matter of time before I become the leader of the X-Men in the future. Your big words are exchanged for bursts of booze. Before taking office, I have already been labeled as arrogant, immodest, pretentious, etc. They are short-sighted and don't know that you are about to do a big thing. The few people behind just listened and did not dare to express their opinions. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 420. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 260. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 360. Please make room for us to stop us from taking pictures of the X-Men. The strongest X-Men are standing in front of you. Instead of taking pictures, you want to take pictures of the guys behind you? Why should I be afraid of you? They are much stronger than you. To be honest, we don't like people who are big talkers and pretend to be without strength. Even if you do become an X-Men, the popularity will not be high. I heard the reporter's heart-wrenching words. Mu Bai just sneered, grabbed the reporter's collar and said, 30 years in Hedong and 30 years in Hexi, don't bully the young and poor. Classic quotations from Gunggu mainland. This remark was selected as the best of the day. God-level skill. Eye of the future plus 100, current eye of the future, 101 thousandths. You. What do you want? The reporter who was grabbed by the collar shouted in panic. There is more or less fear in the eyes, and this look is exactly what Mu Bai wants to see. Keep your eyes wide open and take a good look. Within 2 days, your brother and I will definitely shock the whole world. People who want to take pictures and autographs of me will line up from France to Paris. No matter how you hear your eyes and tone, you don't want to be joking or talking big. Already made some reporters stay away. I'm afraid I'll really offend a big shot. After all, in this era, there is strength, those are all explosive models. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 440. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, the current language fixed line is 280. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 380. What do you want to do? Let him go. At this moment, the reporter on the side suddenly shouted. As a journalist with a sense of justice, facing at the moment, everyone will stand up for justice. And his words inspired others. They accused Mu Bai of violence. And because they are ordinary people, no one dares to do it. Just look at Mu Bai picking up a man weighing almost 200 caddies with one hand. Power is definitely not to be underestimated. Let go of him, you can't treat him like this. Yeah, he just told the truth. If you don't want to hear it, you can leave here immediately, and don't take your anger out on anyone. Scott, are you just watching and not helping? One of the female reporters yelled at Scott and others. Other reporters also noted that Scott and others did not seem to be planning to make a move. As the X-Men at the moment who promised to defend the safety of ordinary people to the death, he behaved a bit abnormally. What's the matter with you X-Men? Just because he's your companion so you plan to sit back and watch? The female reporter roared. It seemed as if they were yelling to awaken their consciences. He is not our companion, Beast quickly explained. He could see that the reporters at the moment were angry at what Mu Bai had done. And I don't want reporters to forcibly tie the X-Men to Mu Bai. Since it's not a colleague, you also saw that he was threatening an innocent reporter, why didn't you help? Reporters complained to Scott and others, but he doesn't know that there's nothing the X-Men at the moment can do. The three whispered to each other not knowing what to do. The X-Men are not his opponents, he beat the crap out of him just now. Hey, Devon, pay attention to your words. Shockwave hastily interrupted Devon's words. Although it is true. But at any rate, save some face for the X-Men in front of the reporters and police cameras. Where is the bullshit? Don't talk nonsense. How could the soldiers be beaten to the ground? A policeman countered. He's a big fan of the X-Men. No matter what he said, he would not believe what Devon said just now. He didn't talk nonsense. The three of us are indeed no match for him alone. Scott's words made everyone look at each other in dismay. 3 powerful X-Men couldn't beat a big talker in uniform. Let the people refuse to accept the reality for a long time. As long as my brother is willing, Professor X, Magneto will kneel in front of me every minute. Blockbuster. This is the first time everyone heard such arrogant words. Professor X and Magneto are godlike existences in the eyes of everyone. Your words make everyone re-examine you. The camera that was aimed at Scott and others also starts to blink at you. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 460. Crit. Language solidification plus 10 by 2, current language fixed line, 300. Language fixed words reach 300. Activate the sound wave language attack. The words you speak will directly turn into words and fly out of your mouth. No matter how long the words are, they can fly out of your mouth continuously, and the louder the language the bigger the stone. Violence in violence, crit plus 10 by 2, current crit, 400. Critical hit reaches 400, activate 5 times critical damage, your attack will cause double damage. He dared to despise Professor X, shouldn't you, as X-Men, take action? An apprentice who firmly believes in Professor X's philosophy begins a moral kidnapping. It made it impossible for the three of them to justify at the moment without doing it. We're just going to make things worse and worse. Why don't you give me face and let him go? As an X-Men, Scott had to set an example in front of the cameras. So he went behind Mu Bai to intercede for the reporter. Seeing that Scott, who is usually known for his bravery, is so timid. Everyone was so surprised that they couldn't say a word. Sorry, I don't look at anyone's face. One sentence makes Scott instantly embarrassed. The X-Men are also at a loss with your crushing level of strength. They know that fighting with you can only be defeated, and the most important thing is that they can easily hurt others. Hands are the most irrational behavior in their eyes. At the same time, Scott is also facing the most embarrassing moment in his life. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 480. Crit, Edma Metal Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2, current adamantium Wolf Claws, 40. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 80. Forgive me. I have 3 other children at home. I'm short-sighted and shouldn't question your strength. The reporter who was picked up by the collar begged for mercy. He could see that the X-Men were afraid to do anything to Mu Bai. And Mu Bai doesn't give the X-Men any face. At the moment, there is only a slight leeway for begging for mercy. Don't be afraid. Brother just wants to warn you, and won't kill you. After speaking, he put the male reporter on the ground. Enthusiastically helped him tidy up his collar. The male reporter's feet just landed on the ground. Immediately turned around and fled back. I'm afraid that Mu Bai will attack him. It's time for us to leave, don't you still want to go to Mutant Academy? Scott brought it up quickly. Now he just wants Mu Bai to leave here quickly. To save the trouble of the story just now. Goodbye everyone, I'm going to the bald professor now, please lock this Douyin account, I will bring you the most exciting news in the next few days. Mu Bai took this opportunity. Immediately announced his Douyin account in front of the camera. At the moment, tens of thousands of people sat in front of the TV to watch. At one time, hundreds of people took out their mobile phones and searched for the Douyin account whose account is Deadpool. Many people turned fans because of Mu Bai's performance just now. They all love the mighty mutant. And Mu Bai can make the X-Men cringe and dare not do anything. And get Scott to admit they're not rivals. It is enough to prove that Mu Bai has unfathomable strength. Some also paid attention to Mu Bai's Douyin with the idea of watching a play. They all want to see what tricks Mu Bai can come up with. And most people just want to know about it. But because of the video of kicking the pavilion in Mu Bai's account. There is also a video of Zeus drinking at the bar. They have developed a good impression of Mu Bai. All found that the X-Men was different. In a short time, Mu Bai's Douyin account went from 100 fans to more than 90,000 in an instant. Farewell to reporters. Scott and others took Mu Bai to the playground of the juvenile prison. A cool armed helicopter is parked on the playground. According to this, we are going to fly to Mutant Academy. That's right, hurry up, Professor X talked to me just now, and said that you are very welcome to Mutant Academy. Then he must have heard, I just said that I have the strength to make him kneel? I should have heard it, but Professor X is not a narrow-minded person, knowing that you were just having fun for a while. Hey. I'm not drunk, and I'm talking from the bottom of my heart. If the bald professor thinks I'm just talking, he will definitely regret saying this when we meet. Several people on the plane fell silent after hearing what Mu Bai said. Didn't even dare to refute anything. We'll wait until we meet Professor X at Mutant Academy. Several people were waiting for Professor X to help them restore their dignity after returning home. Show strength all the time. Even if you are the leader of the X-Men, Professor X, you don't care about it. And still saying it in front of Professor X's most proud subordinate. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 500. Resisting combat ability reaches 500, activates the resisting combat stage, increases the basic resisting ability by 30 times, and almost ignores physical attacks. Crit Edma Metal Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2, current adamantium Wolf Claws, 60. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 100. Fireball reaches 100, activate Fireball level 1, you can create explosive fireballs out of thin air, the power of fireballs is equivalent to grenades. You have a silver egg that has not been opened, do you want to open it now? Give it to me. Open the silver egg to get a Desert Eagle pistol with unlimited bullets. Silver egg critical strike, extra reward, a Desert Eagle pistol with unlimited bullets. Hey, look, brother has already reached 100,000 fans in Douyin. Mew Bai put the mobile phone screen in front of everyone. Devin was the first to show an interested expression and took a step forward. 100,000 followers. So many. Brother only got 100 fans last night, but he just went on TV once and it doubled by 1,000 times. It's not bad for me to go on TV a few more times. 100,000 followers is not bad. Scott suddenly smiled proudly. Seems to have found a sense of superiority at one point. 100,000 fans, from your tone, you seem to have more than 100,000 followers. If you just look at Douyin, I only have more than 3 million fans. More than 3 million. Mew Bai was a bit unexpected. Yes, I have more than 3 million on Douyin alone. Scott sat in a chair with his arms folded. Then you have to hand over your mobile phone quickly. Brother will use your Douyin number to increase my popularity. Scott didn't expect you to have this trick. Already regret showing off how many fans I have. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2. Current anti-strike ability, 520. Crit Edma Metal Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2. Current Adamantium Wolf Claws, 80. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2. Current Fireball, 120. Can you help me increase my popularity? Devin suddenly became interested. After all, fans are the key to voting for the X-Men. How many fans do you have? It's only over 2,000, Devin said embarrassedly. K-off, it's only 2,000, you don't deserve it. Devin was stunned. You did this to a child. After speaking, Devin ignored Mew Bai. And Mew Bai took the mobile phone that Scott reluctantly handed over. Immediately recorded a self-introduction rap. Finally, here is another photo with Scott. In order not to let fans misunderstand that Scott's mobile phone has been stolen. Use up Scott's Douyin. Then he turned around and asked Beast beside him, how about you? How many fans does the blue-haired monster have? I have fewer, not as many as you, only 80,000 fans. Forget it. I don't want to appear in the video of the blue-haired monster. Why don't you ask me? While flying a plane, Shockwave suddenly joked. Forget it. You probably don't have as many fans as Devin. One sentence hits Shockwave. Shockwave thought it was because he was flying a helicopter, so you didn't have the nerve to disturb him. The real reason turned out to be to despise him. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2. Current anti-strike ability, 540. Crit Adamantium Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2. Current Adamantium Wolf Claws, 100. Adamantium Wolf Claw reaches 100. Activate Wolverine Claw. You have the same weapon claw as Wolverine. Violence in Violence. Fireball plus 10 by 2. Current Fireball, 140. After a period of silence, the helicopter flies through a fog. Wait until the fog in front of you clears. The mysterious Mutant Academy appeared in front of everyone. Brother forgot. You should bring a tracker before you come, so you can know where the Mutant Academy is. It's useless, someone brought it before, Devin said quickly. And Mew Bai from at the moment has already opened the helicopter hatch. A strong wind came through from outside. What are you going to do? We haven't landed yet. I don't like smooth landings. A heroic landing with a broken knee suits me. Tukao heroic landing is basically based on finding the ground with the knees first. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2. Current anti-strike ability, 560. Crit Adamantium Wolf Claw plus 10 by 2. Current Adamantium Wolf Claw, 120. Adamantium Wolf Claw reaches 100. Activate Wolverine Claw. You have the same weapon claw as Wolverine 347. Violence in Violence. Fireball plus 10 by 2. Current Fireball, 160. After speaking, Mew Bai jumped up. The body flew directly outside. And Scott hurried to the door to watch Mew Bai's suicide landing. Is this guy being manipulated by Professor X? Even Logan, who has a powerful self-healing ability, will not easily jump from a high altitude. It is very likely that he jumped out of the plane because he was manipulated by Professor X, and normal people would never do that. There is an old saying in Longguo that if you are crazy, you will be in trouble. This sentence can be applied to him. Beast also joined the chat on Mew Bai's drama. Just when several people thought that Mew Bai was taught by Professor X. A familiar voice suddenly sounded in no one's ears. Don't be silly. My brother has already landed in the swimming pool to take a bath, so hurry up and get down. The voice is powerful and powerful, proving that there is nothing wrong with me. On the contrary, a few people underestimated your ability a little bit. Now everyone knows that they are thinking too much. I have gained a lot of knowledge about your ability. Resistibility plus 10 by 2. Current resistibility, 580. Crit Adamantium Wolf Claws plus 10 by 2. Current adamantium wolf claws, 140. Violence in violence fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 180. 3-second arms, they thought I was being controlled by Professor X. I don't know, my brother's passive completes Professor X. Professor Bald may scare you, but to me it's just a bald guy with no hair. You didn't turn off the sound transmission, so what you said was heard by Scott and others. However, they all chose to remain silent on the matter of you scolding them. As soon as the helicopter landed, they were absolutely golden and rushed into Professor X's office like a child to file a complaint. Anti-strike ability plus 10 by 2, current anti-strike ability, 600. Resisting combat ability reaches 600, activates the 6th stage of resisting combat, increases the basic combat ability by 50 times, completely ignores physical attacks, bullets and shells can't hurt you a single bit. Crit adamantium wolfclaw plus 10 by 2, current adamantium wolfclaw, 160. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 200. Fireball reaches 200, activate the 2nd stage of fireball, you can create a fireball that can explode out of thin air. The fireball is equivalent to 3 times the explosive power of a grenade. At the moment Mew Bai, who entered Mutant Academy, was lying on a rubber duck with his eyes closed. Below is a clear swimming pool. At this time, a girl in a floral dress noticed Mew Bai's appearance. Who are you? Why are you lying on my rubber ducky? Hearing the sound, Mew Bai half opened one eye. He took a closer look at the girl who spoke. Then I closed my eyes without any interest. I'm talking to you, didn't you hear me? Seeing that Mew Bai didn't want to talk to him, the little girl's mood suddenly rose. The sound also increased a few decibels. The water in the swimming pool made circles of ripples. Can't you hear me? Interesting, I'll make you regret ignoring me. Mew Bai's ignorance made the girl extremely angry. She hates being ignored. There are also ways to get noticed. Did you hear me? Suddenly the girl's voice expanded like a sound wave. The calm swimming pool suddenly set off a huge wave. The rubber duck under Mew Bai's body exploded instantly. The sound came through the walls. The glass trembled constantly. It didn't attract Mew Bai's attention. Instead, it caught the attention of the students in Mutant Academy. One by one looked out the window in a panic. It's Jasmine's voice. What is she doing? I wonder if it's class time. This psycho is going crazy again. Jasmine always feels that she lacks a sense of existence, and once no one pays attention to her, she will do outrageous things. I don't know why Professor X took her in. After she came, I heard that damn noise 4 days a week. The mutant students in the classroom were dissatisfied one by one. The good class was terminated because of Jasmine's super loud noise. Langban, secret guest, go and see what's going on. Yes, teacher. The secret guest looked excited. She didn't want to stay in the classroom for a long time. Wolf's Poison nodded obediently. The two then rushed out of the classroom to look for Jasmine. At this time, Jasmine's dolphin-like voice sounded again. This time the sound waves were louder. Even the sonic glass invented by Beast is not immune to direct blasting. At the moment Mew Bai here, Jasmine's sound waves had already washed half of the water in the swimming pool to the shore. But Mew Bai lying on the shore was not affected at all. Still sleeping soundly with eyes closed, the continuous constantly grunting almost caused Jasmine's mentality to explode. Jasmine, stop. Looking for the sound, Wolfbane rushed to the swimming pool and shouted immediately after seeing Jasmine for the first time. Jasmine looked at Wolf Poison pitifully like a victim. That guy is ignoring me and still sleeping over there. Jasmine took a deep breath. That person wasn't sleeping at all, it was your sound waves that stunned him. He was stunned? Langban's explanation made Jasmine feel much better. It is no wonder that Mew Bai has not responded. Definitely, no one can withstand the sound wave you just made at close range. It turned out that he didn't ignore me, but was stunned by me. Hear what happened to Mew Bai. Instead of feeling sorry, Jasmine became excited. Compared to other people's feelings, Jasmine seemed to prefer to satisfy herself. But at this moment, Mew Bai's snoring sounded suddenly. At this moment, the expression on Jasmine's face changed again. He didn't pass out, he's still snoring on purpose. Jasmine shouted at Wolf's Poison. Even if she holds back, but the sound was still harsh. Molly, take it easy, snoring may be his natural reaction to passing out. Hey Jasmine, don't make trouble for no reason, no one wants to accompany you to get crazy. A voice no one wants to hear. If it weren't for Professor X protecting you, I would have thrown you to the edge of hell, where you will get the attention of demons. The secret guest chewed his gum with an expression of indifference. Compared to the ink blots of Wolfsbane, she prefers quick fixes. Hey kids, can someone get a good afternoon's sleep? At this time, Mu Bai, who was thought to have fainted, stretched and sat up. Are you okay? Langbane was the first to cast a surprised look. She had the experience of being stunned by Jasmine's sound waves for a day. And Mu Bai encountered Jasmine's stronger sonic attack. He woke up stretching himself. I ignore the noise, her voice is softer than a mosquito to me. Explained the reason why it was unharmed. Lycanthropy thinks that your ability should be able to block sound. Jasmine is extremely surprised. You are the first person not to be affected by sound waves. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, current Water Dungeon, 60. Crit Adamantium Wolfclaw plus 10 by 2, current Adamantium Wolfclaw, 180. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 220. Who are you? Why have I never seen you? The secret guest no longer cared about Jasmine. He looked at Mu Bai in the black Deadpool uniform. Brother is just a transfer student. May I ask who is the boss among you guys? According to the rules, as long as I defeat him, I can directly become the new boss. Rules of the strong in prison, but they don't think you have this strength. I even think that I can defeat you without the boss of the Mutant Academy. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, current Water Dungeon, 80. Crit Adamantium Wolfclaws plus 10 by 2, current Adamantium Wolfclaws, 200. Adamantium Wolfclaws reach 200, activate Adamantium 5 Wolfclaws, the number increases from Adamantium 3 Claws to Adamantium 5 Claws. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 240. Backquote, if you want to challenge our boss, start by defeating us? The secret guest spat out the gum in his mouth. A soul sword with blue light suddenly appeared in his hand. I know this sword, you should be the younger sister of the new mutant Colossus, right? That's right, you actually know me. The black silk on your legs is nice, brother is interested in breaking it. Changes in front of the conversation, camera shifts to the black thread on Mike's leg. Secret is also the only student wearing black silk in Mutant Academy. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, current Water Dungeon, 100. The Water Dungeon reaches 100, activate the Water Dungeon, control the water package to embarrass people, and make the enemies suffer from suffocation in the Water Dungeon. The more water in the Water Dungeon, the greater the water pressure, and the harder it is for the enemy to break free from the Water Dungeon. Crit Attack. Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, current Unlimited Stamina, 120. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 260. I want to break my black silk to see if you have the ability. Mystery's eyes suddenly flashed blue. Don't do anything to the secret guest, he is also a transfer student after all. The gentle short-haired girl Langbai wanted to stop her. But the secret guest didn't want to appreciate it at all. Don't worry about my business, I haven't fought for a long time, and I want to exercise my muscles a long time ago. The secret guest took a step forward holding the soul sword. Since the little girl wants to play, I'm willing to accompany you, but if you lose, you have to hand over the weapon and the black silk you wore. The black silk you might want to wear more than a weapon. There is a huge difference between what has been worn and what has not been worn. Especially if it is worn by a girl with blonde hair and long legs like Mik, the collection value is definitely higher. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, current Water Dungeon, 120. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, current Unlimited Stamina, 140. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, current Fireball, 280. Make a good bet. Mu Bai's fists suddenly stretched out Adamantium Wolfclaws. This scene surprised a few people on the opposite side. The same ability as Logan, Wolfbane was surprised. Wolfbane, who has the ability to transform into a werewolf, is very envious of Logan's claws. I dream of owning the same weapon as Logan. Even just one will be enough. When I saw Mu Bai with 5 wolf claws in one hand. I can't wait to pull it out and press it in my hand. He has 2 more claws than Logan. If he can defeat him, it proves that Logan is not my opponent. The secret guest became interested instantly. Because Logan's combat ability is one of the best in Mutant Academy. And it's number 1 on the X-Men popularity list. She had tried to go one-on-one with Logan. As long as you defeat Logan, you can prove your strength. Leapfrog directly as an X-Men and go out to play. But the wish of the secret guest was rejected by Logan as a child. I feel a little contemptuous of her. Seeing Mu Bai's 5 sharp claws intensifies the fighting nature of the secret guest. Wield a lightsaber to space jump, instantly traveled behind Mu Bai. But when he was about to hit Mu Bai, the person in front of him just disappeared. Left the secret guest standing there looking around. You can also space jump. Brother doesn't know how to jump in space, it's just fast. Just to remind you, your black silk is gone. While avoiding the secret attack, don't forget to steal her black silk. Secret Black Silk 2, Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, Current Water Dungeon, 140. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, Current Unlimited Stamina, 160. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, Current Fireball, 300. Fireball reaches 300, activate the third stage of Fireball, you can create a fireball that can explode out of thin air. The fireball is equivalent to 5 times the explosive power of a grenade, the explosion range is doubled, and there will be splash damage when it explodes. %GS at the voice sounded behind the secret guest. The secret guest didn't have time to look at the black silk on his leg, turned around and slashed back with his sword. But still cut in the air. When he turned around, Mu Bai was no longer behind him. Where are people? Get out and don't hide. The secret guest turned around to look for Mu Bai. But Mu Bai seems to have disappeared. Take another look at the 2 long white and tender legs. The black silk wrapped in it was gone. F*K, those are my last 2. If you want, brother can give it to you, but remember to give me all the old ones. Let secret guest and others think you are a pervert. But in fact you are not interested in Hazy, you just want to tease the secret guest. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, Current Water Dungeon, 160. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, Current Unlimited Stamina, 180. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, Current Fireball, 320. Go away. The secret guest panicked, wielding the soul sword and slashing around. The weather is so hot, I feel that short hair is more suitable for you. Don't touch my hair. After speaking, the secret guest immediately started the space jump. He came to a place 100 meters away in an instant. I thought I could escape Mu Bai's pursuit, but just after appearing from the space, a strong wind suddenly blew in front of him. Clumps of blonde hair blow away in the wind, original waist-length golden hair. He was cut to the base of the ear with a knife. The whole person changed from a temperament hot girl to a silly girl in an instant. Ah! The secret guest looked at the blonde hair on the ground. He stroked the ends of his hair by his ears, standing still and screaming loudly. The tears in the corners of the eyes swirled crazily. Get out. I'm going to kill you. Don't hate brother. Brother is just telling you a truth, don't be frivolous when you are young. Go away. The secret guest squatted on the ground and hugged his knees and cried loudly. The soul sword in his hand fell to the ground. Who is bullying my sister? Hear the cries of secret guest. Colossus rushed over in stride. Colossus, who has always been good-tempered, was instantly raged when he saw his sister crying. Hey, good friend Anal King. There is a golden anal wolf in the front, and anal wrestlers in the back. The names of both of them will be ruined by you. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, Current Water Dungeon, 180. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, Current Unlimited Stamina, 200. Unlimited Stamina reaches 200, activate Stamina Absorption, you can absorb the enemy's stamina through contact, let the enemy's stamina overdraw. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, Current Fireball, 320. Hear the ridicule behind him. Colossus jerked his head back. See Mu Bai in a black tights. What did you call me just now? Analuz. I don't mind repeating it again. It was he who caused the secret guest to cry, and also collected the secret guest's black silk. Jasmine at the side hurriedly made up the knife. Can't wait to see Colossus beat Mu Bai. Jasmine, what you say now is more aggressive than the sound wave just now. Mu Bai pointed to Jasmine. When speaking, Colossus has already gritted his teeth and rushed over. But Mu Bai easily turned and dodged, elegant as a high-end matador. There's no need for Colossus to be so eager to hug me. Bully my sister, I will make you pay the price. Colossus couldn't see his sister being bullied. Initiate the next charge. Mu Bai stood where he was until the Colossus was about to collide. This time he deliberately stretched out his foot and tripped. It directly caused Colossus to lose its balance and fly out and fell to the dog to eat shit. Too weak, find some stronger mutants. Damn it. Colossus eagerly helped the secret guest out. However, several consecutive charges all ended in a dog gnawing face. Instead of venting his anger for the secret guest, he put his own face in it. Forget it. Colossus, he's fast. Wolfbane at the moment stood beside the secret guest to comfort him. Don't forget to persuade Colossus to give up. But Colossus is straight man of steel. There is a style of not giving up until the goal is reached. Where to fall and where to stand up. Charge again and again. Dog gnawing falls again and again. seeing that Mu Bai felt a little distressed on the ground. Colossus, stop. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in Colossus' mind. This allowed Colossus to regain his senses and stand upright. Why did you suddenly give up? I can play one with you. Don't worry about it, someone has come to treat you. Colossus sneered. No more unnecessary attacks. Waiting for the person speaking in his head, soon Cyclops and Chin came from a distance. Between the two, a bald man approached slowly in a wheelchair. Looking at the figure of Professor X, the few people who were teased by Mu Bai seemed to see hope. The secret guest jumped in space and stood in front of Professor X with red eyes and crying. What's the matter, kid? Professor X asked gently. Mystery wants you to see her new hairstyle. It turns out that the new hairstyle looks cute. Preemptive strike. It even made the secret guest instantly forget what he wanted to say. Let Professor X think it's true. I didn't expect the secret guest who has always been rebellious to suddenly become obedient. It seems that hairstyle can also change a person. Water dungeon plus 10 by 2. Current water dungeon, 200. The water dungeon reaches 200. Activate the double water dungeon. Control the water to wrap the enemy, and make the enemy suffer from suffocation in the water dungeon. The more water in the water dungeon, the greater the water pressure, and the harder it is for the enemy to break free from the water dungeon. You can create 2 water dungeons at the same time. Crit, infinite stamina plus 10 by 2. Current unlimited stamina, 220. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 340. No, that guy forcibly cut my hair. I'm a new barber, and the students in our place have to cut their hair short. There are regulations that imply that the school does not allow long hair and all standard hairstyles. I want to achieve constraints with hairstyle. Water dungeon plus 10 by 2. Current water dungeon, 220. Crit, infinite stamina plus 10 by 2. Current unlimited stamina, 240. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 360. Ugly. Professor, teach that guy a lesson. The secret guest recognized his own strength. I can only cry in front of Professor X for revenge. Professor, he made me almost go on a rampage and destroy the entire mutant academy. Jasmine, you stinky bitch, give the regiment a hat. Exported swear words, prove that you are not a reconciling person. Professor X does not allow others to insult his students face to face, so he decided to teach you a lesson. Water dungeon plus 10 by 2. Current water dungeon, 240. Crit, infinite stamina plus 10 by 2. Current unlimited stamina, 260. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 380. Professor X pushed aside the secret guest who stood in front of him. Place fingers at temples, his eyes fixed on Mu Bai. And Mu Bai imitated the movements of Professor X. The two looked at each other. He's screwed. Colossus crossed his arms and smiled. The professor made him take off his damn costume and shave his head in public. The secret guest also smiled, even thought of punishment. Professor, as I said just now, he openly provoked us X-Men and you in front of reporters, and completely discredited us X-Men. Just brainwash him into a fool. Scott didn't forget to share his advice. After a few seconds, Professor X lowered his hand on his temple. Those who hated Mu Bai all showed the joy of victory. Professor, you brainwashed him, right? Scott asked. Did the professor give him an order to shave his head? The secret guest followed closely. Listen to me first, Professor X said calmly. Professor, you said we are all listening. What did you let him do? Are you ready, children? Get ready. Professor, tell me what punishment you gave to that guy. Too quiet. The professor's expression suddenly became exaggerated. His usually calm expression suddenly became funny. Well, the voice that was too enthusiastic made everyone confused. Professor, what's wrong with you? Oh. Who lives in the big pineapple in the deep sea? What? Big pineapple? The professor suddenly sang. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay. Not that it is easy to control Mu Bai. Why did it suddenly change to singing? They had never seen Professor X like this before. But at this time, Mu Bai, who was not far away, suddenly shouted. SpongeBob SquarePants. Followed by the professor's eyes staring like copper bells. Fang Fang Huang stretches freely. Mu Bai replied, SpongeBob SquarePants. If exploring is your desire. Until the two sang the last chorus together. Prepare? SpongeBob, SpongeBob, SpongeBob. Finally the sound of the flute. Mu Bai ends with ventriloquist. Everyone agreed that both were crazy. The world's most powerful Professor X went crazy. Several people couldn't put an end to this fact for a while. Scott quickly shook Professor X's body and kept shouting, "Professor, wake up, what are you doing? Professor, what's the matter with you?" Others also surrounded the professor worriedly. At this time, the professor's empty eyes gradually became brighter. "What's wrong with me? Great professor, you've recovered." "I recovered. What happened to me just now?" "We don't know, anyway, you seem to have been singing just now." "Sing? What song?" "It's like SpongeBob SquarePants, a song I've never heard before." "SpongeBob SquarePants?" Hear the word SpongeBob SquarePants. The professor's eyes suddenly went blank again. A funny expression appeared on his face again. "Are you ready, children?" "Yes, Captain." This time there was no need for anyone else to respond. Professor X sang and answered by himself. The degree of madness surprised everyone. "Professor." Pull the professor back quickly. "Don't worry, the bald professor will wake up naturally after singing SpongeBob SquarePants 100 times. Your words at the moment scared everyone, I thought both sides would suffer. The result is that you are fine, Professor X is crazy." The mutant with the strongest mental power was defeated. Losing to a person who didn't look normal, several people feel scared for a while. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2. Current Water Dungeon, 260. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2. Current Unlimited Stamina, 280. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2. Current Fireball, 400. Fireball reaches 400. Activate the 4th stage of Fireball. You can create a fireball that can explode out of thin air. The fireball is equivalent to 10 times the explosive power of a grenade. The explosion range is increased by 5 times, and the ground within the explosion range will leave flames. You unexpectedly controlled Professor X. Chin looked at Mu Bai in surprise, but in the next second, Mu Bai hugged his waist. "That's right, have you been conquered by brother's strength? Let me go." Chin immediately pushed Mu Bai away and took 2 steps back. Colossus is not as brave as it was in the beginning. He even pulled his younger sister Mik back. "What the hell did you do to the professor?" Professor X's anomaly made Scott cry out in worry. "I thought that Professor X's strength could crush Mu Bai, restoring the dignity of the X-Men, but no one thought of it. The strongest Professor X is not an opponent. Now instead, Mu Bai has made him mentally handicapped who can only sing. If Professor X has been like this, there is no way to recover. Sooner or later, an X-Men team will fall apart without its moral support. Do you want to know?" Mu Bai looked at Scott and smiled. The kind smile was more and more different in Scott's eyes. "You have better control than Professor X, I can make you sing SpongeBob SquarePants until you lose your voice." SpongeBob's original sunny and humorous name is now called the thing Scott is most afraid of hearing. Because Professor X will go crazy again just because he heard the word SpongeBob SquarePants. Chef plus 20 by 2. Current Chef, 40, Crit, Chef plus 20 by 2, Current Chef, 80. Violence in Violence, Chef plus 10 by 2, Current Chef, 100. Chef reaches 100, activate superb cooking skills, you have more than 30 years of cooking skills, and are proficient in various Longguo cuisines. 237, SpongeBob SquarePants. The 4 characters made Scott take a few steps back. See, Scott is afraid to hear SpongeBob SquarePants. Mu Bai asked with a question mark on his head, "Is there no SpongeBob cartoon in your world?" "Never seen it, nor heard of it." At the moment Colossus has felt the disparity in power. Change to the softest tone. "Then what did you watch when you were a kid?" Mu Bai looked at the young secret guest in the crowd. "I would like to ask about the childhood animation of the children here." Mystery swallowed and leaned back in front of Colossus. Staring at Mu Bai is no less frightening than seeing the smiling face person she is most afraid of. She didn't like watching animation when she was a child. "What about you, Colossus? What was your favorite thing to watch when you were young?" "The Adventures of Uncle Long, Young Hackers." "What about you, Scott?" "Rick and Morty, Mr. Pickles." "Good guy, Scott, you seem to be a decent guy, and when you were a kid, it was all about taste. You should go see The Simpsons in Crispberry Park again." Duban high score the United States animation, whoever sees it will be confused. Plasma plus Violence plus Color, definitely not suitable for children. Water Dungeon plus 10 by 2, Current Water Dungeon, 280. Crit, Infinite Stamina plus 10 by 2, Current Unlimited Stamina, 300. Unlimited Physical Strength reaches 300, activate the Physical Strength gift, you can increase the physical strength of the other party, and the physical strength of the beneficiary can be increased by up to 3 times. Violence in Violence, Fireball plus 10 by 2, Current Fireball, 420. "I'll watch it when I have time," Scott said perfunctorily. "By the way, which part of Mr. Pickled Cucumber is out?" That. I haven't seen it. Part 3. The secret guest said happily. It's only the third part, and I've already finished watching the fourth part. It's a pity that the fifth season was cut in half. Otherwise it would be ranked ahead of Rick and Morty in my heart. In addition, you good girls can't watch the animation just mentioned. The more you don't let them watch it, the more curious they are about what animation makes you so serious. It may be related to the plasma tablet, but it is actually more serious than this. Confrontation is good, because your topic has changed to a cartoon exchange meeting. Water dungeon plus 10 by 2. Current water dungeon, 300. Water dungeons reach 300, activate multiple water dungeons, control water to envelop the enemy, and make enemies suffer from suffocation in the water dungeon. The more water in the water dungeon, the greater the water pressure, and the harder it is for the enemy to break free from the water dungeon. With sufficient water resources, you can create multiple water dungeons. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 20. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 440. Universal skill fragments won the crit lottery, and directly own 100 universal skill fragments. It just happened to be directly upgraded to teleportation. Whether to convert 80 universal skill fragments into teleportation. Yes. 80 universal skill fragments converted successfully. Get 80 teleportation skill fragments. Teleportation reaches 100, activates teleportation of 500 meters, teleportation without cooling within 500 meters. It's been so long. Why haven't Logan and Raven appeared? The two of them have a mission to go to the island country to deal with the Hand Association. Another secret guest replied. She seems to have forgotten about Mew Bai cutting her hair. F*K. I came at a bad time, and I want to catch up with Wolverine. There's nothing else you can leave now. Leave Professor X behind. I still have something to ask him. What are you going to do to Professor Wei? Colossus asked suddenly. Although he is afraid of Shinobi, he will inevitably worry about the safety of the fire teacher. Don't worry, I won't be interested in a bald man. Looking at everyone's worried expressions and their slow pace step by step. Mew Bai immediately shouted, if you don't leave, I will definitely let you stay and sing 1,000 conquests. Sentence makes everyone move plus 50%. Mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 420. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 120. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 460. After everyone left, Mew Bai regained Professor X's consciousness. At the moments Professor X feels parched. Didn't realize he had been singing the SpongeBob SquarePants song. The image that has been maintained on weekdays has been shattered a few minutes ago. What did you just do to me? Using mental power to control you. You also have mental power. Brother has a photographer. If you don't believe me, you can watch the replay. Mew Bai snapped his fingers. Duplication, who was invisible next to him holding a camera, suddenly appeared. This is my portable videographer, he will always be by my side to help me record. Now show him the video of Professor X singing SpongeBob SquarePants just now. Yes brother. Break up and nod. Go to Professor X and recall the recorded video. When I saw the exaggerated expression in the playback and sang SpongeBob SquarePants himself. Professor X was directly petrified. Zhang Shay died because there were his students beside him. When I go back, I will ask Vanessa to edit a section of Professor X Ghost Animal, and it will definitely be popular on Douyin. How did you do it? You can control me. Professor X trembled in surprise. He thought that his powerful mental power was already invincible. Today it was a complete defeat. It was even easily controlled by Mew Bai. It was unacceptable for a while. There is a sky beyond the sky, and there are people beyond the people. The position of the leader of the X-Men should also be replaced. You speak your mind. Professor X suddenly realized that you are interested in leading the X-Men. Although you are strong, he will not compromise easily. Not to mention handing over the X-Men created by myself to others. Mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 440. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 140. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 480. Your strength is indeed beyond my imagination. I heard Scott and others tell me about you. You not only have Cyclops but also many other abilities. I could tell they weren't lying, and they weren't lying to me. But I didn't expect your mental ability to far exceed mine. It is absolutely no problem to be the leader of the X-Men with your strength. I believe you can give mutant and mankind a better future. You don't seem to be able to use mind reading and mind control on me. How do you know I'm a good person? Mew Bai waved his hand at duplication. Duplication continued to stand behind Mu Bai in stealth. A photographer with absolute stealth. As long as you follow behind Mu Bai, you can capture breaking news all the time. Just because you have the power to control me, but you didn't do anything out of line, instead you just made me look ugly. I can be sure that your heart is not bad. And when they said you almost killed Magneto, I didn't believe it at first, but now I believe you didn't lie. If you really want to be the leader of the X-Men, why not start with 5.0 to improve your reputation? Let more people realize that you can bring peace to mutant and ordinary people, and then you can become an X-Men. Absolutely no leader will be unconvinced. Professor X said with a smile the whole time. The tone of speech is like a teacher who patiently enlightens naughty students. I shouldn't have called you Professor X. What do you want to call me, teacher? Professor X jumped for joy. No, you should be called the first person in the X-Men painting pie. Bluntly say that although Professor X did not use the spirit ability, but speaking out is undoubtedly tantamount to brainwashing. Mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 460. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 160. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 500. Fireball reaches 500, activate the 5th stage of fireball. You can create a fireball that can explode out of thin air. The fireball is equivalent to 15 times the explosive power of a grenade. The explosion range is increased by 10 times, and the ground within the explosion range will leave flames. The fireball will also have an enchanting effect. Unlock fantasy skills. Different fire, 30 years in Hadong and 30 years in Hexi. I actually unlocked the strange fire. Pairing different fires with my fireball technique might create a Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus. Referring to Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus. The fighting skills from the male protagonist Dopo, through the fusion of various flames to produce powerful destructive power. The power of the Fire Lotus varies with the number of integrated flames and the strength of the power. The potential is unlimited. It is the last trump card of the male protagonist Dopo. Mind control plus 10 by 2. Current mind control, 480. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2. Current teleportation, 180. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 520. If you get the Burning Man skill again, and your whole body is covered with various different fires, it will definitely be a full-level special effect. Mu Bai suddenly muttered to himself. Let Professor X be a little confused. In addition, he didn't dare to test Mu Bai with his mental power. After all, it has already been defeated once. I didn't draw cakes, you haven't even met the members of the X-Men now, and many people don't know you. It would be too hasty to take office suddenly. It's like the president of a country is suddenly replaced by a passer-by whom no one knows. Do you think the public will recognize him? Fortunately, he is a professor. He has a flexible mind after reading a lot of books. But I really need some achievements to support my face. When I go to copy Magneto's lair tomorrow, it won't be too late to talk about the leader of the X-Men in 2006. Professor X never thought he would defeat Magneto in this way. I thought the two would have a long battle. Your appearance turned the situation around. As the saying goes, where you stand, the scale of victory will tilt there. Mind control plus 10x2, current mind control, 500. Mind control reaches 500, activate amnesia, use mental attack to make the victim lose memory. The weaker the energy resistance, the heavier the amnesia. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 200. Teleportation reaches 200, activate kilometer teleportation, no cooling teleportation within 1 meter square. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 540. Don't kill him. Magneto is not bad at heart, he just chose the wrong path. Bring it back and I can persuade him. The professor looked kindly. It is not an exaggeration to say that the Virgin Mary is a bitch. There is a powerful ability not to use. You must convince people with virtue. I can kill if I want to. Why should I listen to you, a bald man? Who are you? In a word, Professor Lang X, understanding the difference between him and you. He even feels that your character is more suitable to be the leader of the X-Men than him. Mind control plus 10 by 2, current mind control, 520. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2, current teleportation, 220. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2, current fireball, 560. Was speechless by Mu Bai. Professor X quickly changed the subject. It's time for dinner, do you want to stay and have dinner together? Brother traveled all the way to come here, it's a bit unreasonable to ignore the food, right? Let's eat with the children, and let them know you by the way. After speaking, Professor X drives the wheelchair to go ahead. Mu Bai followed behind. After a while, the two came to the door of the restaurant of Mutant Academy. As soon as I got to the door, I heard laughter and laughter from inside. Eyeing the two glass doors of the dining room opened automatically. After Professor X went in, attract everyone's attention. Everyone smiled and said hello to Professor X. Colossus, Scott and the others rushed to meet him.
It's okay to see Professor X. The few people who were worried finally fell down.
Professor, are you all right? Professor, he didn't do anything to you, did he? It's okay, we're fine. We're going to keep talking about the X-Men after dinner. Talk to him about the X-Men. Professor, you're not going to let him join the X-Men, are you? Scott said. Clearly his tone did not support Professor X's decision. Other people around are also waiting for Professor X's reply. Yes, he will indeed join the War Police. We just met him, is it a bit inappropriate to suddenly let him join the X-Men? Everything is right to me. His joining has only advantages and no disadvantages for us. I agree with the professor that it is better to join us than to join our enemies. Although he is very powerful, he doesn't look like a bad guy. Jean is the opposite of the others. She doesn't think Mu Bai joining the X-Men is a bad thing. On the contrary, after joining, it will reduce a lot of burden for their team. Everyone heard that Professor X had already decided not to ask any more questions. Let me see how the food is at the White College. At this time, a strange voice sounded outside the door. Mu Bai walked in. When seeing Mu Bai, the smiles on everyone's faces froze instantly. Because they have all heard Devon say it. A very powerful guy in a black uniform came to Mutant Academy. Not even Professor X is a match. Scott, Beast and others were also beaten. Everyone looks very nervous when they see real people. I'm afraid that Mu Bai will stare at me with too many expressions. Why are you so serious? Brother, I'm here to eat, not to give you lessons. Don't worry. Brother has experienced the pain of going to class hungry, and this kind of thing will never happen to you. One sentence breaks the serious atmosphere. Your humor shortens the distance between strangers and increases everyone's favorability. Mind control plus 10 by 2. Current mind control, 540. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2. Current teleportation, 240. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 580. You're the one who beat Scott and Professor X? At this time, a young man suddenly asked. That's right, my record has never reached your ears so quickly. Boss is what I said. I told them everything about you beating up Scott and others, and about you beating Professor X. You also know about the defeat of Professor X, but you didn't seem to be there at the time? Looking at the expressions of Scott and others when they came back, I knew you must have won, boss. Dai Wen rushed to Mu Bai excitedly. This eagerness to do meritorious service made Mu Bai very satisfied. He stretched out his hand and touched Devon's head and said, even if you made up for it, I won't post that video of yours. Boss, feel free to post if you have nothing to do. I wish they could all hear the rhetoric at that time. Devon, you are perfect in terms of people's sophistication and flattery, but it's a pity that you are not my brother's style. I thought Devon would be disappointed, but the enthusiasm on his face was still not extinguished. It's okay, boss, you may think that I am too young, and you are afraid that it will be unsafe to follow you. I will strengthen my training recently, and you can call me at any time when I become an adult. From now on, I will only obey your orders. Devon made bold words in front of everyone. I have already identified Mu Bai in my heart. After all, with Mu Bai's strength, just be a younger brother. Even if your own strength is not strong, you will have absolute self-confidence. You actually said that, so I'll make an exception and accept a younger brother. Your words let everyone see a new goal. What abilities are you still practicing, as long as you don't walk sideways wherever you go? Mind control plus 10 by 2. Current mind control, 560. Crit, teleportation plus 10 by 2. Current teleportation, 260. Violence in violence, fireball plus 10 by 2. Current fireball, 600. Fireball reaches 600. Activate the 6th stage of fireball. You can create a fireball that can explode out of thin air. The power of the fireball is no longer a fixed value, and you can continuously inject flames and magic, so that the size and power of the fireball will increase simultaneously.